It's Thursday, the 12th of June 2025, and a warm welcome to the AM, the best breakfast show on the block. Across Ghana's 16 regions on the Joy News channel, around the world on myjoyonline.com, on Facebook, on X Spaces, and on YouTube. This is the AM show, and I'm your host, Sweetie Abochi. So this morning, we'll start by serving you the AM news, and right after that, we'll bring you AM sports. Our news review segment comes right after that. And who's joining? John Dako is Member of Parliament for Swami, and Nelson Jabab is also Parliament for Krachi East. And of course, we have Nanaya Sapong. He is from the Movement for Change. Those gentlemen will be joining us to review the newspapers, and then we get into our big stories. So first on that order today, we're looking at the Health Committee for a meeting today in an attempt to settle the impasse that has left public hospitals deserted and patients left stranded around the country. Meanwhile, we hear from the Nurses Association on their next move following their crunch meeting last night. I don't know if you heard about it. We're all eager to hear what the fallout will be. And also, today is day 2 of the Basic Education Certificates examination for over 600,000 pupils around the nation. We are on the grounds as well today. Yesterday, Adobe Asari brought you some details from Bawe. Today, guess where we are going next? Stay with us for that. And so you're invited to join us with your comments and your thoughts on platforms via Joy News on TV. And then you get to have your say at the tail end of the program. This is the AM News on the Joy News channel. Details now. Former Finance Minister Ofori-Atta is in more trouble. Joy News has confirmed he's now also wanted by both the Economic and Organized Crimes Office and the National Investigations Bureau. Both agencies have opened active investigations into Ofori-Atta's dealings as a finance minister. More on that shortly from the Deputy Attorney General Justice Remsai, who's been speaking to Joy News in a PM Express interview. He first confirms the Attorney General's active assistance to the Special Prosecutor to track down, detain and extradite Mr. Ofori-Atta.
We are here. The former Minister of Finance is currently in court, right? He is challenging a lot of things. That shows you that he himself has confidence in the judiciary and is willing to explore the options that are available to him. So why should we be more interested in political commentary? In any case, it is not only the OSP that is investigating the former finance minister.
Who else?
Yoko is doing the same. NIB is doing the same. So,
what is Yoko investigating?
I can't give you the details, but it's just enough for us to know that it is not only the OSP that is looking for the cooperation from the former Minister of Finance.
Because OSP's, Yoko is Economic and Organized Crime.
Yeah. They
tend to look more with money laundering. I mean, just by the very architecture and setup and legal acts that created it, you can guess what they're looking for if they're investigating Ofori-Atta. Has he been involved in economic crime? Or suspected crime, economic crime?
The investigations will show. I mean, investigations means that there's a suspicion, and we are investigating to establish whether the suspicion is founded or is true or not. So if you ask me whether he's involved, I won't be able to speak to that, but I know there are investigations concerning him in the circles of Yoko.
Yoko, and then NIB as well.
NIB as well.
Do you know what the NIB is looking for?
I cannot disclose.
Is it a duplication of what the OSP is doing? Because OSP has published what they're looking for already. Is it a duplication of that?
No.
Completely separate?
Completely.
Completely separate from what the OSP is put out?
So long as the Attorney General Office is involved in the coordination, we will not allow one. It's waste of resources, and it's also abuse of the right of a suspect to be dragged before multiple investigating agencies in respect of the same thing. So we will not allow that to happen.
The Deputy Attorney General also confirms his office is assisting the Special Prosecutor to locate, detain and extradite Ofori-Atta to Ghana to face justice.
The OSP, as we know, is having difficulty having the former minister, come to assist in investigations. That we all know for months. It gets to a point where we can't wait anymore because everything is time-bound. And so the OSP decide that they will seek international assistance. That's the red notice alert. The red notice alert is to tell everyone, all parties to the Interpol, treaty, that if you find this person in your jurisdiction, you can assist us to bring him back to face, justice in Ghana. And assistance comes in so many forms. So you can arrest him and keep him temporarily. Beyond that, there must be a formal extradition process to have the person. So the fact that you're on the red notice is not automatic that there's an arrest warrant for which you'll be extradited. There must be a separate extradition process which would now assist, or wherever you are found, then we can trigger that for you to be arrested. You go through extradition proceedings in the country, and then you are shipped to Ghana to face prosecution.
Away from that, the Northern Electricity Distribution Company has warned of potential power shutdowns if the company continues to incur significant losses from illegal connections and power theft. According to the Northern Regional Manager of NEDCO, Elvis Dominiako, out of 370 million Ghana cedis worth of power purchased by NEDCO, 195 million Ghana cedis has been lost to these illicit activities. Presenting the figures at the launch of the Tamale in Focus project, he stated that the company is currently struggling to replace damaged transformers as a result of these issues. There's more in this report.
The Tamale in Focus project, initiated by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, is aimed at providing a platform for utility companies, the media, and the public to engage to help sustain service whilst reducing losses for these companies. Speaking on the sideline of the launch, the Northern Regional Manager of NEDCO, Elvis Dominiako, said Yendi and Tamale alone account for a staggering 86% of the losses incurred in the northern area.
As a region, Tamale feeder, if I say Tamale feeder, I'm talking about the BSP at Chobu. It serves 4 stations. It serves Tamale itself, it serves Tolong, Kumbungu, and Sablugu. That's 4. And that one alone contributes to 75.8% of the total losses. It means that the illegal connection, even though when you look at northern area, we span all the way to Pasa, Kitikrachi, Damango, almost Sola Chirepone, but the problem is Tamale. Those areas, yes, there are some level of losses, and then if you look at Tamale and Yendi, so when you put Tamale and Yendi losses together, it's about close to 95.something%.
The Northern Regional Manager of the PURC, Simon Ali Jarana, said the idea behind the project is to see how they can help reduce the losses being suffered by these companies.
Behind this whole idea is to see how best we can fight to bring down the commercial losses that are being recorded by our utilities. You will not be surprised that one day we wake up to hear that NEDCO can no longer function. The backbone of people ask that they should be efficient, but what is going to make them efficient? They must be financially viable. If they are not financially viable, they cannot go anywhere. So the transformer, we just had a report of Honorable Minister that people around who don't have issues. It has to do with money, So we decided to launch this program this morning, the Tamale in Focus project.
Street traders in Accra may soon have a safer place to work, as the city's mayor promises to complete the Salaga and London Markets projects. Once finished, the markets will help relocate hundreds of traders currently selling on the streets. James Aveji reports.
Following the decongestion exercise carried out by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly 3 weeks ago, the Women Caucus in Parliament on Wednesday paid a courtesy call on the AMA and the market women to know the extent of work and help resolve any challenge the exercise may have posed to the business of the market women.
And see how far he has gone with it, and how our women, especially our single women, single parents, are coping, so that together with the president of the women in the market, together with the mayor, we look at how best we can all address it.
Is the rape cases at night. I wish the task force will go around in the middle of the night.
After debriefing at the AMA, the team of AMA staff and the Women Caucus, led by Honorable Comfort Doyo Kujo, hit the streets of the Central Business District to interact with the market women.
It's good. The line is good. We like.
You are observing.
The line.
You are observing.
Yeah, everything is good for us.
Okay.
Oh, actually, everything is fine. Once I'm here, people are buying little by little from me. So I give thanks to God. Accra Mayor, God bless you.
Mayor of Accra, Michael Nick Bakbalote, assured no distraction was caused during the exercise, as he says plans are in place to complete the Salaga and London markets to create more space for the traders.
So if we don't take time and we try to move them there without any solution, it will bring pressure to the government. And Your Excellency John Domani Mahama didn't bring me here to come and bully people, to come and do abaye. So you can see for yourself, the ladies have, the market women, our grandmothers, have dealt with them well. And there is more to come. I have a lot of plans for them. I have plans of putting up finishing the Salaga markets, the London markets, and streets. There are days I'm going to block the streets and create markets for them to sell. So you can see for yourself.
The caucus leader and MP for Adan, Comfort Doyo Kujo, expressed satisfaction at work done so far, promising that Parliament is ready to provide support to the AMA to maintain sanity on the streets.
If I were to mark him, I would give him 99%. I am more than satisfied. And I think the reset is really working in AMA.
What action are you going to be taking as the leader of the Women Caucus, who is also championing this cause in Parliament?
We are going to support him and make sure that whatever he will request, they push it for him to work harder. We are going to other metropolitan assemblies to look at what they are also doing there. We'll visit Medina, where they also do abaye. We'll visit Osuklote, they also do abaye. And we'll visit Adenta. We'll go as far as Kumasi Mayor to look at what they are doing there. Because as women, we in fact, we have those things in our heart. And we need to protect our women in the market.
The traders eagerly await the AMA to fulfill its promise to bring them some relief. James Abeji, Joy News, Accra.
For years, they have lived in a cycle of fear and uncertainty, sleeping and waking to the sound of crashing waves, not knowing if the sea will claim more of their land. In Ketu South, Keta, and Anglo districts, communities have long battled the encroaching tides, a fight made harder by the unforgiving hand of climate change. As part of the Joy News German Embassy Climate Talks, our next stop is Keta, the heart of Ghana's coastal struggle and resilience. Emefa Atiamo Eli has been speaking to residents and local leaders as we focus on promoting indigenous knowledge in coastal resilience. Here's that more.
Twice a year, they brace for impacts, enduring weeks of flooding that uproot homes, destroy livelihoods, and deepen despair. Today, hundreds remain displaced, climate refugees in their own homeland. But in the face of adversity, how are these coastal communities adapting? How resilient are they? And what traditional knowledge are they drawing on to protect their future?
What strategy are we going to use?
to protect ourselves from the sea. The best thing is the brick. You see, it's the only brick can protect it. Nothing again. There's nothing. Are you going to use branches, coconut branches, to protect yourself along the seabed? No. The best thing is the brick. But here is the case. The sea doesn't want even to see the brick at all. It breaks it all every time into pieces.
This problem started all the way back in 2021. So up to now, you can see the number of people who are rendered homeless. Yet, whatever they are calling for, that the sea defense project should continue, doesn't continue. So I will talk about thousands of people who are rendered homeless without any help. When you talk about relocation, we would not relocate anybody in Agavaji community, well as the Asalakope and then Amocheno. So people, whatever we are doing is that to talk to them, to sleep with their neighbors. And that alone will not solve the problem.
Meet Togbe Emmanuel Anum Tete, Chief Fisherman of Salekope, a coastal community in the Ketu South District. His surroundings paint a haunting picture of the devastation caused by sea erosion and tidal waves. The structure behind him once served as home to his extended family of 30. Today, 99% of that home has been swallowed by the sea, reduced to memories now buried beneath the waves.
In my household here, we are about plus or minus 30. Our survival, since this started, I mentioned it already, we survive by the help of people outside and our children outside. We are being helped. Nobody know nothing because we can't fish anymore. We are fisher folks. That's the main occupation here.
In other news, the Vice President of Imani Center for Policy and Education, Bright Simmons, has argued that weak policy frameworks are derailing Ghana's development. Speaking at a policy engagement event on Ghana's sustainable future held at the University of Cape Coast, Mr. Simmons noted a persistent disconnect between politics and policy formulation, which he said has adversely affected the country's development and democratic progress. He emphasized the need for deliberate efforts to initiate and implement effective policies that address Ghana's long-standing challenges. Abigail Esel Nkrumah has more in this report.
The University of Cape Coast brought together policymakers and stakeholders to deliberate Ghana's sustainable future. At the event, the Vice President of Imani Center for Policy and Education, Bright Simmons, indicated that Ghana will continue to be a third world country if stronger policies are not instituted.
So my argument is that there's a breakage between the politics part of things and the policy part of things. And it's led to a country that is really difficult to fix. In fact, I call something political dysphonia, which is basically an argument that we have voice in the country because there's democracy, but that voice doesn't lead to any outcome because of this breakage. So what we have is a voice disorder of everybody just talking. So every time you turn on the radio, turn on the TV, you move into the marketplace, everybody has views and opinions, and it's all over the place. But what is the process of distillation until you get to a point where you can begin to think through rigorously what is the best set of policies to solve your problems as a country? And as an entrepreneur, knowing what I know in my journey, it became clear to me that if the policy issues are not fixed, we can do all the business we can admire all the entrepreneurs that we see in Ghana, the country will still be a third world country.
Dr. Stephen Moore of the UCC Department of Mathematics in an interview emphasized the need for collaborations to solve issues.
We need to solve a problem. We need to put people together. We need to have people together to challenge ourselves that there are solutions to everything that we can do. And of course, it's a lot of time that I'm spending. I do not get money for that. It does not help me in any way for promotion. It does not give me any reward. But for me, the reward is that We are trying to solve a generational problem.
The head of the Department of Environmental Science at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Michael Miita, highlighted the gap between policy and politics.
There is a big gap between politics and policy. In reality, he's trying to let us know that the academia has a strong role to play. And academia, by virtue, we are intelligentsia, we produce papers, we generate knowledge, but that knowledge is not having the real impact in our community. We are trying to generate knowledge, but that pull, that force that should galvanize us to address policy issues is clearly missing.
From UCC, Abigail Lissel in Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Well, that takes us straight into our business update now with Benjamin Akapo.
Thank you for staying. Welcome to your business updates. We serve you our currency market for today. Well, let's get into our stories now. An economist, Professor Peter Quartey, has welcomed the performance of the growth numbers for the first quarter of this year, but insists the economy has not fully recovered. This was after the agri sector recorded the highest growth rate of 6.6% compared to other sectors like the service and industry sectors. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Professor Quartey noted that the growth was, in fact, impressive.
Growth rate, as we've seen, this quarter is higher than a similar period last year. It tells you that the 5.3% growth is higher than the 4.9% recorded in the same period last year, which is an improvement, and I think is worth commending, and I hope we can sustain that growth. However, I need to put in perspective that non-oil even grew faster than oil GDP, and we've all seen that oil prices globally went down, and therefore it's not surprising that non-oil GDP was 6.8, whilst oil GDP grew at 5.3% during the quarter. Also, it was quite striking to see agri performing quite well. Agricultural growth was 6.6%, much higher than the 2.9% recorded same period last year. And the crop sector, I mean, if you dig a bit, you realize that the crops also did quite well, but it's quite surprising that food prices still remain high despite the growth in crops production. So it means we need to investigate what is causing this high food prices on the market. Is it transportation, or what exactly is the cause? And I think that's where we need to deep dive into and unearth some of these issues. Then we also find fishing growing by about 16%. Did the close season help? Or, that's also quite an interesting area too. It's early days, yes, because we are yet to see, this is just the first quarter, we are yet to see the next 3 quarters of the year. So if you judge by what we are seeing now, then one can say that, but I don't think it is right to say that now.
Now, the Bank of Ghana is warning the public against dealing with unlicensed digital platforms, Yellow Card and HandyPay. This was captured in a statement issued by the central bank yesterday. There's more in this report.
The Bank of Ghana, in a statement, maintained it had to issue this notice because Yellow Card Financial Incorporated, operators of Yellow Pay platform, which has been actively promoting itself as a provider of payment services and cross-border remittance solutions, has not been licensed by the central bank. It again revealed in the notice that the same Yellow Card Financial Incorporated is said to have entered into collaboration with HoneyPay to develop and integrate a new stablecoin, AKL Lumi, into the global financial ecosystem. The Bank of Ghana argues that HoneyPay has also not been given any approval to operate within the Ghanaian jurisdiction, hence anything from them should be seen as illegal. The central bank is therefore warning the public, financial institutions and all relevant stakeholders to desist from any engagement with Yellow Card Financial Incorporated and HoneyPay Ghana. This is because all these institutions don't have approval to operate in the country.
Well, to cap off your business updates, we serve you the Commodities Exchange. Well, that's it for your business updates. Up next, we'll be serving you sports. You know, I've heard of the rumble in the jungle, the clash of the titans, but the battle of the beasts, I guess we're going to be finding out about that in sports. Haruna Mubarak is here. Mubarak, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Ben. How are you doing?
You're looking dapper this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, I always look dapper. I mean, better than you.
You can just admit you're learning from me, and unless you want me to expose you on live television.
I'm learning from you. I'm learning from you. I'll be humble enough to admit I'm learning from you.
That's our fine man, Haruna Mubarak. But what's coming up in sports? What's this, beast?
I think it should. It's just a highly anticipated bout that we'll be looking forward to this Saturday. Of course, we have the details. And in Europe as well, Ramon Calderon, the former president of Real Madrid, he's he's very confident that Trent Alexander-Arnold will have a successful spell with the Los Blancos. So, yeah, we'll hear from him.
Well, you take it away, Haruna.
Yeah. So, sports coming up next in a bit. Let's do sports on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, Ghana's boxing scene is set for a major uplift with the highly anticipated Battle of the Beats showdown scheduled for Friday in Accra. Now, organized by Legacy Rise Sports in collaboration with American Promotions, the bout is expected to draw international attention. Lawrence Baidu attended the press conference and filed this report.
Ghana's former cruiserweight champion Jacob Dixon will face a test of his career at home before his fans when he takes on 35-year-old American-based Andrew Sabiti on Friday, June 13 at the Bukum Boxing Arena in Accra. The much-anticipated event is aimed at projecting Ghana's boxing prowess to the global audience. Ahead of the fight, Dixon has been speaking highly of his opposition.
This is the biggest opportunity for me and my team and my family and everyone that support me. Thanks to everyone once again, and thanks for my opponent too. This is I never expect this fight because this opponent of mine is one of my biggest idol. Someone that I was looking ahead to. I started boxing at the age of 14 years. I started looking at him when I was young, and I wish to be like him. Because, you know, thanks to everyone. Thank you.
Tabiti and his camp are also looking forward to an incredible atmosphere on his first visit to the West African country.
But this opportunity is bigger than me. It's a chance to put a spotlight on Ghana boxing and boxing in Africa. So I'm coming to show out. I'm coming to the fight and knock this guy out. That's all.
The exciting bill, which also features Theophilus Alote versus Daniel Selassie Gosh for his WBO Africa Bantamweight title, and the National Cruiserweight Championship between Haruna Mohammed of the Wisdom Boxing Gym and FitSquare's Abdullah Ahmed, is being promoted by Legacy Ride Sports, headed by Sharaf Mahama, son of President John Dramani Mahama.
At Legacy Ride Sports, the aim is to bring global exposure to Ghanaian boxing and, enhance African boxing as well. And for all the international fighters and coaches that have come today, I want to say a big thank you for, it's a huge risk when you hear you're having a fight in Africa, So I want to thank you guys for taking this opportunity to come. And we have a huge event June 13th on Friday. We have a lot of 50-50 fights that I'm looking forward to, including this one right here. And we have a lot of entertaining performances, and so I urge the fans to come out early and grab a seat and enjoy the boxing.
Both boxers have the same nickname, The Beast, with 13 and 17 knockouts respectively. The two fighters are expected to weigh in on Thursday, June 12, before the actual fight on Friday night.
And Christopher Bonsuban has become a rising star after his standout performances for Ghana at last month's Unity Cup in London. The 20-year-old forward impressed on his senior debut against Nigeria and thrilled fans against Trinidad and Tobago, fueling hope for his impact in Ghana's 2026 World Cup campaign. With the Black Stars leading their qualifying group, Bonsuban says he's confident the team will secure a spot at the global showpiece.
Yeah, I think for me, I will not say, as I said, I will not put any pressure on me because I'm still young and I need to focus on my career. But I'm sure we are 100% confident that we are going to qualify for the World Cup. So we just have to do what we used to do and give all to the nation and help each other. Yeah.
What will it mean to you to help Ghana qualify for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think not for only me, for my family and all, for the nation, everyone, because Ghana qualifying to the World Cup is something big for the nation. Not only us, but every country. When you hear or when you see you are in the World Cup, is something big for everyone. So I think it will mean a lot for us.
So Ghana qualifying for the World Cup and you being with the squad to be played in the US, what will it mean to you to be part of the Black Star squad for the 2026 World Cup?
Yeah, for me, I think it's every player's dream to be part of the national team squad to the World Cup. But as I said, when you focus on those things, you cannot perform. You just have to trust the process one after the other. Now I go to my club and I focus on my club and I give all to my club and we'll see what will come next.
Now, the full interview with Joy Sports Adamu Benin Abdul Karim airs tomorrow on this channel, on the Joy News channel at 6:30 a.m. Now, head coach of Sudan, Kwesi Appiah, will go head-to-head with his former Black Stars teammate Frimpong Manson and two others for the Coach of the Year prize at the upcoming Ghana Football Awards this Saturday. We take a closer look at this competitive category in this following report.
James Kwesi Appiah has made a significant impact as head coach of Sudan's national men's football team. The Nile Crocodiles, the year under review, has been marked by remarkable achievement, qualifying Sudan to the 2025 AFCON in Morocco, and an impressive outing in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, where they are currently just a point behind group leaders Senegal. The 2024-25 Ghana Premier League season has been a revelation for BBN Gold Stars under coach Frimpong Manson. After 34 matches, the team have made history by winning the Ghana Premier League title for the first time. Gold Stars' campaign was defined by an extraordinary unbeaten streak through the first 10 matches, with 5 wins and 5 draws, accumulating 20 points from a possible 30. Nations FC's 2024-25 Ghana Premier League season has been remarkable under Mengel's guidance. By match day 31, the team topped the league table with 57 points from 31 games, edging out Bibiani Gold Stars and maintaining a strong position with 3 games remaining. Their record in the league showcased the blend of attacking flair, defensive resilience, and consistency that kept them in the title hunt. Fifi Parker-Hansen has had an impressive run with the Division 1 Zone 3 in the MTN FA Cup, beating the likes of Hasselfolk and Karela United to reach the finals of the competition, where they come up against Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Now, to Europe, former Real Madrid president Ramon Calderon is confident that English defender Trent Alexander-Arnold will have a successful spell with the Los Blancos. The right-back signed a 6-year contract and is expected to feature at the upcoming FIFA Club World Cup under the guidance of head coach Xabi Alonso.
The signing for us is one of the best right-backs in the world. He can play as a midfielder. So for us, that would be also relevant because Luka Modric has left, Toni Kroos 2 years ago. So I think it's been of a great help for our team. He has all the opportunities here. People are expecting him with open arms. So it's a new English player coming to Real Madrid with many ones having been successful here. For sure, he will be one of them.
Just how seriously, though, are Real Madrid taking the Club World Cup? It seems they are, because obviously they've paid money to get Trent Alexander-Arnold before his contract with Liverpool expired.
All the competitions are important for us. In this club, to win is an obligation. So any competition we are playing, the players know that they have to win it, and the coach also. And I think to have signed Xabi has been very wise, not only because he won the championship in the Bundesliga in Germany, but for me, much more important that he knows the club. He's been a player for 5 years, so he knows how important it is to put up with the pressure, to endure it, and that's why he can be successful as well.
That's it for sports on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. The newspaper review continues right after this. Please stay.
Live from Kokomimli, this is the AM Show on Joy News. The AM Show is sponsored by Waylead Properties, providing quality housing at affordable costs with flexible payment options. And here's a question that you should take seriously. Are you thinking of a rewarding investment you can engage in? Then Waylead Company Limited is your preferred choice for such investment. Waylead Company Limited is a real estate company with several developments to its credit right here in Accra. And the latest development, Willow Lane, is where you want to put your money because elegance will always meet tranquility there. Now, we provide quality housing at affordable cost with flexible payment option, in addition to 24-hour security, reliable water, power supply, and other social amenities to make your stay a memorable one. Give us a call now on these numbers, 0240-111-119 or 0504-499-999. You can also visit our website at www.waylead.org for more information. Now, those joining us for the news review this morning, we have Nanaya Sapong, who is from the Movement for Change, and we have the Member of Parliament for Krachi East, Mr. Kofi Nelson Jabab. Welcome to the program, sir.
Yeah.
Nanaya, welcome.
Thank you.
Two gentlemen, and I'm the only lady.
Yes.
Love it. So let's get your quick reflections on national issues, anything topical right now before we get into the newspapers. There are a lot of papers today, a lot of stories to dissect. So I'll start with you, Nanaya Sapong.
The news week, so.
Yeah, it's a news week.
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished viewers. My take would be on personal security. I think that there is a need for us to educate ourselves on personal security and taking personal security serious. I say this on the back of a reel I've seen on social media, and I think the day before yesterday and yesterday, that a young man accidentally shot the girlfriend playing with a firearm, and this has been occurring.
The Bono,
yes, the Bono,
the
Pru, or is it EAG area?
Yeah, Pru East.
I think
EAG, yeah.
I think that our security services and the NCC and the other agencies that can help public education on personal security ought to be able to take this up. It's happening too many times within a very short period. And it's the firearms ones that we hear, but that of the sharp edges, the knives, and funeral stuff that happen, and the cars, the reckless driving and other things. We should be able to educate ourselves. I mean, was it last week or this weekend they had this whole week in the University of Ghana, and if you look at the number of accidents that had occurred, the injuries on these young students, then you know that we are not taking personal security serious. We should discuss it as a nation, and we should be able to push our agencies to help us.
It's a serious recipe for danger, because these arms are not registered.
Yes.
Well, I think that just like financial literacy, personal security, there's so many things that we leave to chance. We're not intentional about teaching the young people about how they can take care of themselves, like you're mentioning. I think that personal finance too is a big one. Nobody teaches you how to be financially literate, They just assume that once you grow up,
you should learn,
anyway,
adulthood is a scammer.
You grow up and you find out. But elsewhere, there are so many other countries, mostly in the western side, where they teach them these things. They teach them about about financial literacy. Even before they get to high school, they have a fair idea, already saving with piggy banks and the rest.
Beyond that, even picking the course you would want to do, the program you want to do.
It's a proper orientation.
Right from home to the school.
Have counselors. There should be proper orientation. We should be groomed. Public health, we pushed to an extent now. Public health has become something that we are into. But the rest of those petty ones, the personal security savings, as you're saying, the programs you would want to read, because the world is revolving, and we should be able to reorient our minds on the choices of programs we would want to study and all of that. And,
Thank you, Nanael. So, Mr. Jabab, what are you sharing with us this morning?
Thank you, Siri. This is a very big platform, of course, Dwayne News. First and foremost, I would like to thank your viewers across length and breadth, especially the good people of Karachi East this morning. I know they are watching me. I greet them and I love them all. First of it all, I know a lot have added their voice, a lot have appealed, especially the Minister of Health, to the nurses and midwives. I would also like to use this platform to appeal to them, the leadership. I mean, every nurse, every midwife, their lives are precious. Life is very important in all that we do. And their service is to save lives. We know sometimes governments might have not met their concerns. And strikes sometimes do not solve your problem. Strikes are like war. Nobody has fought war and achieved his or her aim. You go at the end, you regret, I regret. Then we come to a round table. So leadership is calling for a round table discussion, and we appeal to them. They should come back, they should resume work, so that lives will be safe. Thank you.
Welcome. We know that there was a crunch meeting last night, and we will be speaking to the leadership of the nurses and midwives to understand the fallout and the way forward. But just taking a cue from what you said, I think we should stop the blame game or denigrating what they're trying to do, because at the end of the day, you're fighting for what to do them. I was reading this morning that the Chief Executive Officer of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, George Smith Graham, is rather blaming the GRNMA that it is internal wrangling among them. That is why this delay is happening, and that even the contract expires next year. And so it doesn't make much sense that they would want it to be implemented right now when it will be expired next year.
Was he blaming them? He wasn't blaming them.
This is not the time to be doing this. It just angered them more. And then what if they decide
I understand where Sweetie is coming from.
Yeah.
But you see, Sweetie, we have to call a spade a spade.
A spade.
When you are making a demand, you make a realistic demand.
Are you saying their demands are not realistic?
No, you are due it. Nobody, the whole country, everybody acknowledges the fact that what they are demanding, indeed, they deserve it. All right? Yes, of course, if you are climbing up a story building and you want to be paid an allowance for climbing up a story building, of course, you understand. Let's make realistic demands. The economy was so bad. You get it?
Yeah.
Now the economy is beginning to recover. When you are recovering, you do not immediately begin to spend and want to go back into the ditch. So you would come, these are our demands. But as patriotic as we are, all right, A, B, C, D are our priorities. Let us look at them first. Then we take them pace by pace. Indeed, when the collective agreement was signed somewhere last year, May, the implementation was supposed to have taken effect. What caused the delay? It was an internal wrangling. It is a factor. We can't run away from it. Now we are where we are today. Government is formed. You understand me? Now they are demanding that it be implemented. The economy is bad. Everybody in this country understands that this economy is now recovering. You don't immediately want to burden yourself when you are recovering. It is not that.
Healthcare
should
be prioritized.
Of course.
Which is why we are seeing a lot of changes with national health insurance.
Of course. Even you see with the insurances, I was even suggesting.
So how do
no one is disputing that.
How do you go?
No one is disputing that. What he's saying is that
it is their fault that we are.
No, I'm not saying it's their fault.
You just said that it's
No, don't misconstrue him.
One of the factors. Of course, sweetie, let's be honest with ourselves.
And what I'm saying is we are here now.
We are not blaming
It's no longer about
anybody.
the blame game.
It's not a blame game.
no longer about who did
But
what,
you see,
who's the reason why we are here. It's about how do we move forward.
We ought to be able to speak truth to authority. You understand me? As much as we are speaking truth to authority and we are telling government, listen, sit down and do something about it, we should be able to tell our nurses that, listen, let's be realistic.
Okay.
Let's be real.
Okay, all right.
You get what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, Mel. I mean,
there are some of the things, if you look into the collective agreement, sweetie, if it is your personal company, you will not do them. Funeral grant. How do government pay 13th month? You see, some of the things they're also demanding. There is no government or company that would document such a demand. It will not happen. So we need to be able to come to a realistic agreement.
Anyway, let's
then
move
we are
on, because
people are dying.
That these are
people are dying.
And already agreed. These terms were agreed upon, right? It's not now that we are negotiating.
Why were they not implemented?
If you are a manager,
because
let me hear him out.
Why were they not implemented at the time they were agreed upon? Because it was not feasible implementing at that moment. So this is a new government, as you and I appreciate. So government is putting things in place. The economy is about to begin to recover. So everyone appreciates that, yes, they have a point, they deserve it. No one is saying that they don't deserve it. But it's a matter of time. That's why the nation is calling on them to return to work.
So this gives us an opportunity to push for proper political policies. I call them political policies. Here. Including, I've seen a document about this research book and research allowance from the tertiary institutions. Since my school days, I have been against this thing. How many of these PhD holders, we are there, they should also publish the papers they are saying that they have done. How many of them indeed go to do research?
Okay.
So let's be real.
The point I'm making, if you hear me out, the point I'm
we are
making
pleading.
is
We've been pleading.
These terms are not up for debate at this point because they've been, you know, it has been assented to. If
So I wanted to
that.
ask you a question.
You know
Let's
what I'm
say
saying?
you take over my company as a new manager. You come and the first week in office, all right, HR comes to you and say that the previous manager who left, okay, they left this document for compensation, which has a direct and impactful effect on the budget of the organization. Would you,
it's the
as a
same
manager,
reason why this
immediately
administration
sign
sacked
it?
those over thousands of people that were sacked because they were employed from the erstwhile administration. They didn't have, they said the same narrative, that they didn't have the budget to accommodate that, plus there were some
They need to be able to look at it.
etc. However, you cannot say that you didn't know that these were agreed terms before you came. I mean, there was a transition period.
But you know that there is a difference between leadership and management. And there is a difference between having a responsibility and obligation and authority.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, what is there's a local balance?
He's not denying the fact.
I'm not denying the fact.
He's not denying the fact that government is not aware of this.
I'm not arguing. I'm just
But
giving
what
you another
we
perspective.
are saying is that, saying is that, yes, they deserve it.
Yes.
But we think the term is premature.
It's about timelines.
It's about timelines. Exactly. There should be patient.
The rhetoric should not be, you're the reason why we are here.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I started by saying that the CEO of Fair Wages and
the
Salaries
Fair Wages
Commission
man made that statement on the back. You see, I was on another platform, one of your sister stations, and they were interviewing the Greater Accra Regional Executive Secretary of this same group. He made a statement trying to blame the government and the employers, all right, for delaying it from the time it was signed. Then the question was posed to him. Was it the government or the employers that took them to court? No.
Gentlemen, let's get into the newspapers. I hope that this pops up again so we can get another round of arguments on this. So I'll start with Daily Graphic newspaper. But
it gives us an opportunity to cancel nurses, teacher trainee allowances. We should discuss that.
Huh? You want to
it should bring, no, after this one, we should come to that way. We cannot spend this amount of money paying you once we are in school.
On the front page of the Daily Graphic, Speaker directs MPs, ministers to regularize offices held for profit. Economy expands by 5.3% in first quarter. Services agri lead recovery. And Showcase graphic newspapers reduce airfares. According, Minister appeals to airline operators. And it's a new era for aluminium industry. GIADEC granted 6 mining leases. So the country has taken a significant leap to become a formidable player in the global aluminium market by granting 6 mining leases to the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation, that's GIADEC, the state-owned entity spearheading this ambitious agenda. I think it's good news. I'll come to you, gentlemen, for your reaction or reflections on that. Let me quickly run through this. Bodies of school children found after South Africa floods. Oh, that's rather sad. Convoy arrives in Libya en route to Gaza to challenge Israel's blockade. So back here in Ghana, let me quickly get to this. They say economy expands by 5.3% in first quarter. Ghana's economy recorded growth of 5.3% year-on-year in the first quarter of this year, marking an acceleration from the 4.9% growth recorded in the same period last year. So there's some good news in terms of the economy. And the Speaker directs MPs, ministers to regularize offices held for profit. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has directed all parliamentarians, ministers and deputy ministers currently holding any office for profit or emolument not expressly authorized by law to regularize their positions without delay. And he says that Articles 78, Clause 3 and 98, Clause 2, together with the standing orders, were designed to preserve the constitutional balance between the legislature and the executive, avoid undue influence, and maintain the trust reposed in the members to govern. And one last story, and then I'll come to you. Ofori-Atta is under investigation by Economic Community, Yoko and NIB together. Yesterday, I listened to that interview with Evans Mensah, and Justice Remsai was waxing lyrical about what they're doing. I want to get that story now on myjoyonline.com, and then I'll bring you the details. Right, so I'm here. Former Finance Minister Ofori-Atta is facing deepening legal troubles as both the Economic and Organized Crime Office and National Intelligence Bureau have declared him a wanted man. The two state agencies have reportedly launched separate active investigations into Mr. Ofori-Atta's financial dealings during his tenure as finance minister, signaling an escalation in the scrutiny surrounding his stewardship of the public purse. Let me pause here for a bit. Gentlemen, this is where we are right now. So from recovering, Operation Recover or Loot, I think this falls under that. Aluminium industry, Speaker of Parliament call for members of Parliament, ministers and deputy ministers to regularize their offices held for profit. Where do you want to start from, Mr. Jabab?
Of course, I'll start from
being an MP. Eh?
The Speaker.
No, if not, you'll be called to the Privileges Committee.
Let's hear you out.
To regularize, offices of profits holding. We know, as you rightly mentioned it, in Article 78, the clause 3 of the article requires that as a member of parliament, as a minister of state, if you have any office of profit making that brings you profit other than your work you do as a legislature, you declare it, and there's procedure for that. There is a form for you to do that. And you know what? It safeguards you. If this is done, you are safe as a lawmaker or a legislator, so that, you know what? You can read the public mind. Sometimes they accuse you of abuse of power. They abuse you of, some ill-gotten wealth. Probably you made that out of your business, even before your time of politics. So it's in right order. And I think that to us as parliamentarians or MPs is no new, and it's a call in the right direction. And members of parliament are ready to comply.
Okay. How about the double investigation, joint or, the two investigations by Yoko and National Intelligence Bureau into Ken Ofori-Atta's matter at this point?
Yeah, the double intelligence investigation is, you and I know that Ofori-Atta is being sought for investigations into some alleged, dealings or financial transactions during his tenure as what? Minister of Finance. And the last time it was made was, we were told he is not well. He's traveled out of the country. The OSP gave him an ultimatum for him to return into the country. And that also elapsed. And he has since not appeared. So I am not surprised that at this point, both Yoko and NIB are seeking after him just to come and answer questions. He has not been convicted. No one has accused him yet. But he's only being called to come and answer questions. So if Ofori-Atta appears today and answer questions the way they expect him to answer, then the law takes its own process from there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jabab. So, Nana Asapon, it's
Yes.
time now.
I would start from Article 78.
Are you happy that the extradition processes are underway? Or you want to start from Article?
No, we can start from there. To bring him home, of course, that's our money.
Yeah, oh, it is.
It is our money.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we need to, whether or not he is guilty, all right, he needs to come and answer these questions. Because we are talking about monies that myself and you, our taxes were used together. You understand me? And so I do not see why Ghana as a country honored him by making him a minister. Even when it was on record that he wasn't so well, we still gave him an opportunity to serve as a minister. He resigned from his company on the basis of ill health. But yet, he was a minister on that same grounds. And we give him that honor, we give him that opportunity to serve. It is time for him to come and respond to some questions that we are posing. Would we all not be happy that answers are given to the $58 million that was used to dig a hole? Would we not want to hear what went into that? Would we not want to hear how come that some payments were made into to some ambulance maintenance work and all that? Would we not want to hear about all of these monies? But he would also do himself good if he comes to exonerate himself. Because, you see, it is forever going to be on the minds of Ghanaians. And we are going to write about this. Because to some of us, if these questions or the whereabouts of these monies are not found, all right, it means that during his time, probably we would not be wrong to tag him as the worst performing minister ever.
Okay, so
we will not be wrong.
Okay.
Because if all of these monies are not accounted for, he needs to come home. And you see, surprisingly, his lawyers and himself have had the time to respond to social media issues and to letters from the OSP and to the Yoko and other places. But they do not have that same energy to be able to tell him that, Ken, come home. We have very good health facilities here.
Okay, so
I mean, how long does it even take?
Okay, our third
How
guest,
long does it take for
our third guest
Ken
joins
Ofori-Atta?
us via Zoom now, and I want to introduce him so he can get a bite on this matter as well. And Kojo Poku is an energy analyst, and he joins us via Zoom. Kojo, good to see you. So yesterday,
how are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you for asking. Justice Ramsay has confirmed that government has now initiated processes to extradite Mr. Ofori-Atta from abroad, where he is currently, or wherever he is believed to be. And two separate active investigations, IOCO and NIB, are investigating the matter. What's your take on this?
Good morning, and good morning to the co-panelists on your studio and your viewers. I hope everything is well. Yes. I think with this matter, it's much ado about nothing. Look, we have a very robust legal system. We have a very robust investigative system. One thing that everybody watching this program and has been following the Ken Ofori-Atta issue should learn is that a minister cannot commit a crime by himself. If you say that a minister has committed a crime, there should be co-conspirators, there should be collaborators, because if you know how the government works, ministers do not unilaterally take actions. Things are brought to them, they sign, they give instructions, and the instructions are carried out. If everybody followed Ms. Cotton, Abadapi, Kwampepra, and Adams case, when we first used the willfully causing financial loss to the state, you realize that the chief of staff went to jail. Sorry, the chief director went to jail. The minister went to jail, the chief director went to jail. Why was that? The minister could not have carried it out without giving instruction to somebody else to also carry it out. So when you look at the transcript of the case, and some of us, we are not lawyers, but we follow keenly with some of these things. One of the cases that came up was that, yes, instructions were given, but did you also do your own due diligence? So for me, the OSP is just have an obsession with Ken Ofori-Atta, knowing very well that the man can come and refuse to open his mouth. In fact, when you go to court, you don't speak. His lawyers are the ones that speak for him in court. He doesn't have to testify. So all this issue of trying to get him to come, for what? Because in fact, his lawyers don't even have to put up a case. We all know the case of no submission, right? When you go to court and a person does not meet the burden of proof, you have a right not to submit anything and just say that, look, the prosecution has not met its burden of proof, so you submitted no, you don't want to put up any defense. And the court, in some instances, has ruled that there isn't enough on the table for the defense to open his case. So there are two instances.
All right.
He doesn't have to say anything to you. He doesn't have to defend himself. If you think you have enough to go to court, go to court.
Okay.
Charge him.
So, you know, that
There's
also came
nothing-
up, Kojo, that also came up last week, asking whether or not to try him in absentia. But something you just said, you said the minister cannot commit a crime by himself. Is that not a good reason why he should come and point out the people if a crime has been committed? As we speak, nobody's saying he's guilty, right? He's supposed to come and answer questions, bring clarity to the matters. Like Kojo, Nanaya Osapon was just saying, we'd like to hear the understanding, the explanation as to where the money that was supposed to build a national cathedral went, for which reason we are seeing a deep hole right now.
Well, there was a chief director. My dear, there was the chief director. The chief director can easily answer any question the minister can answer. And I can assure you that.
But the chief director was not the one who led that. Hold on. The director was not the one who led that project.
No, the chief director is the, you see, if you look at the document, you see, anybody that has worked in the ministry will understand what I'm talking about. It's naivety that is killing the OSP. Okay? Look, every document in the ministry, every document in the ministry has multiple signatures. Unless you find one document with just one signature from them, it's not possible. Even the letter signed by the minister, it's not drafted by him. It is drafted by various directors, audited by various directors. The chief director has to look at it before it is given to the minister to sign. So where are you? Listen, what I'm saying is that you do not need Ken Ofori-Atta to prosecute Ken Ofori-Atta. If you think there's a crime, go to court and prosecute it, because there should be co-conspirators.
So are you saying that you rather side with the arguments that he should be tried in absentia rather than to extradite him?
But he should be because we should also see the co-conspirators. Where are the co-conspirators? Where are the co-conspirators? Where are the people who collaborated with him to come? Because a crime can only be committed on both sides. There cannot be one person. In such a crime, it can be just, listen, there is a case where we know that somebody used one left hand to sign one part of the letter and used the right hand to sign one part of the letter. We heard about those things in court, okay? But even in that, they were co-conspirators.
Okay,
because after that letter was used, somebody has to transfer the money. So those that transfer the money, the recipient of the money, all those people, have they been charged? Where are the co-conspirators?
Kojo, I will give you the chance to respond, gentlemen. But I think that when a scandal breaks out or something, a crime is committed, purported to be committed, you look for the leader to answer questions, not chase. Just like we're doing with Galamsey, we don't want the people going into the pits because
I love the confidence in which Kojo has been able to speak to try to convince us with practically things that are not. You can't find.
Disagree with
no,
that.
How do you tell me?
Commit a crime by himself.
How?
That he's okay if he's tried in absentia. That he should go and look for the co-conspirators.
That a director writes a letter and goes through peer review, so it comes and you close your eyes and sign.
He was contradicting himself.
Sweetie, now you're crying holding high offices. Do you think that a secretary will just bring a letter to me and I'll just close my eyes and sign it without reading the content, without understanding what it is? A finance minister, for that matter? Please.
In charge of the national, the entire.
Would Kojo run his company this way? Why are we trying to play politics with this? And please, it does not happen in the ministry. Some of us have had the opportunity. Please, Kojo, you had a bite, please. Some of us have had the opportunity to at least see how works are done at the ministry. This is a blatant lie.
Okay, so your point is that everything he said is a lie.
But
he has a point when he says that the minister could not have committed a crime by himself.
Number one. This cathedral thing. You are aware it went through the presidency and some of these documents went through cabinet and other things. Does the chief director go to sit at cabinet to defend these documents? All
right, so that's your battle. It's okay. Let me listen to Mr. Jabab now.
Please.
So what are you saying?
Kojo
is contradicting himself?
You see what I'm saying is contradicting himself. Kojo made reference to prosecutions of Dan Abudakbe, Kwame Pepra, and he even said that the chief director was also convicted. Didn't he say that? Now, upon assumption of office by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and NDC, Nana Dankwa came out publicly to all his appointees that they should all stay in the country and answer questions. No one should run away. And this is the case. This is the case. Ken Ofori-Atta and Anado. Everyone knows when you mention them. Their relationship. Now, this man was given, you say you were not well. Well, OSP said, fine. Have time, like, treat yourself. Just appear to answer questions. Those questions are not answered. And back to Kojo's point again. You think these big scandals that we mentioned, even the National Cathedral issue alone, you need the chief director who doesn't attend cabinet meetings to go and sit down and answer what?
This is the point where
when the minister himself is alive, he's not dead.
Okay, but Mr. Jeba, this is the point where those who disagree with you or opposition may have an argument over you. When you say just answer questions, they offered to have a video conferencing to answer questions, and you rejected that.
No, it doesn't require that.
To answer questions, why did you reject the application to have...
I wanted him to have substantiated to the fact that, or to those who are calling for trial in absentia. He's dodging that fact too. He doesn't want to respond. It should come out clear for us to know where Kojo is standing.
I'll come back to you in a bit, Kojo.
Just a quick one. You see, when I started, I said that there is a difference between having a responsibility and obligation and having the authority. The chief director is the spending officer of the ministry. But the chief director cannot spend without the authorization of the minister. Now, but you come to tell me that...
All right. So, Kojo, these are the rebuttals. Final, give me a final wrap, and then we move on to another story. I think Kojo is muted. Okay, we can hear you now.
I'm not trying to convince anyone. This is the point I'm making. You said that if somebody writes a letter and you close your eyes and sign it, a home minister, you cannot do that. Let's assume that he did, but somebody wrote the letter. So if you want to try the person who signed the letter,
you should try the person who wrote the letter.
Would you also try the person who wrote the letter? No, I'm just saying, the point I'm making about conspirators and collaborators is that if somebody wrote a letter and somebody signed, there are two people. So let's assume that the person who signed did not read, but somebody originated the letter. So the point I'm making is that you are fixated on one person who was a minister. The point I'm making is that you have to now have conspirators and collaborators in such a scheme.
And with that, how do you get those conspirators and collaborators?
Mr. Abuchi, they rightfully said that there was cabinet approval, and the chief doesn't sit in cabinet. So there were members of cabinet. There were documents from cabinet. There were people at the ministry who would have basically interrogated these things.
That's a very good point. So how then do you respond to the question of do we not need a leader to answer these pertinent questions?
He doesn't have to. You see,
he's the leader, Kojo. He's the one. He's the one at the helm of these issues. Yeah.
If you do not understand the case you are investigating, the onus is on you. He doesn't have to offer any explanation.
So answer this question, yes or no. Are you in agreement that he should be tried in absentia?
Yes, 100%. If there are any charges, he should be tried in absentia.
All right.
If there are charges, but I bet there's nothing. If he can be charged, he'll be charged. You don't need to do this, come home and this. Look, listen, if he can be charged and tried, he should be charged and tried in absentia. If there is any charges.
In a related matter, 2 days ago, the Office of the Special Prosecutor and National Security raided the offices of SML and Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. 3 of their directors were picked up, equipment, metering, infrastructure, and all those were destroyed. Some were destroyed. I want to pick your mind on this. Have you followed that story?
Again, another example of much ado about nothing.
Some of the reasons why we are looking for Ken Ofori-Atta.
Well, what I'm saying to you is that exactly. So let's give that a bite, okay? You are now going after SML. Now, in the SML investigation, let's say that Ken Ofori-Atta is a conspirator in the SML investigation. The point I'm making to you is that no criminal act can be committed by a minister by his own. So let's assume that you think that Ken Ofori-Atta and SML has done something. You investigate SML. If you now find out and get information, witness statements from the SML directors and all these people that implicates Ken Ofori-Atta, then you go to court, charge Ken Ofori-Atta with the SML directors, then try them. We have done similar with the Maslock lady, right? The Maslock lady was in absentia. She was tried in absentia and convicted in absentia. But let me say this. There is a difference
Kojo,
between
did that trial start in absentia?
Well, it doesn't matter, but it was done because he wasn't. There's the court. Hold on.
It flaws your argument.
Yes, because
it did not
initially
start in absentia. It flaws your argument.
It did. The trial started in absentia, but when it started, she was called in to the investigation. But when the trial started, it was in absentia because when there are cases where, there are reports where the judge has issued a threat that if she doesn't come to court, the trial will be done in absentia. So the trial itself started in absentia. Now, let me make this quick point. SML, you might not agree with the act of SML. Kojo Poku says that GRA did not need SML to increase their revenue. GRA could have worked with MPA to basically put measures in place to increase their revenue. But SML went through a proper proposal review, proper proposal approval, and they went and did their work.
You know that the KPMG audits or investigation findings said there were procurement missteps, government lapses,
yes, but
partial service delivery,
procurement missteps are not a crime.
Quantified gains, but lack of value for money.
Procurement missteps are not a crime on the person who applied. Procurement missteps are on the side of government that approved. So you go and arrest GRA. If I apply to something and there are procurement missteps, it is not for you to come and arrest me, Kojo Poku. Hold on. If I apply to GRA to get something and there are procurement missteps on the part of GRA, why do you come and arrest me? Why don't you go and arrest GRA?
You literally just said that SML used the right processes, sent a proposal and all that.
Yes.
And I'm pointing out to you that
but on the side, I am
independent investigation.
Ms. Abochi, I'm a businessman. I'm telling you that I sent a proposal. The proposal is reviewed on the other side. I am given approval to go and do work. If somebody finds that there were procurement missteps, it's not from me. Kojo Poku, the SML people, private company, have done nothing wrong. You go after the procurement misstep on the government side.
Is it possible that the arguments you are making in the hold on, let's have a conversation. Is it possible that the arguments you are making that we should look for the co-conspirators before we look for the leader? This is what the OSP is doing by going to find more information for themselves, entering SML buildings, and the same reason why they still need the minister to come back, the former minister to come back and answer. In fact, hold on, let me put that to my guest. Hold on, I'll come back to you. So, Kojo, Nana Sapong and Mr. Jabal, he's saying that there were co-conspirators in all these other cases that the Ofori-Atta is being a wanted man for. And so you should go and find those who are culpable before you look for the leader. Is that what we are doing with SML?
Who was responsible for taking the decision? And if you own a company and you have a manager who is the final decision maker of the organization and he takes wrong decisions, do you sack or close down the company or you fire the decision maker? Let us be practical when we are making some of these arguments. SML, the issue came up. You are talking about mislaps in procurement. Number one, there's a KPMG report that speaks clearly to it. All right? Sweetie, if I go to steal this phone and you know it's a stolen phone and you buy, do you think that the laws will let you go?
Ignorance of the law is no.
It's no excuse. If you read the report of KPMG, it would give you that understanding that they themselves, as a company, did understand or get to know that there were a lot of mislaps in the procurement processes. And so if today we are calling Ken to come and respond, and they are also taking steps to investigate SML, are they not doing the right thing?
Okay.
Are they letting SML and their directors go off the hook? No. They are here.
But he's investigations one before the other.
One before what?
He's saying the small, not small ones, the co-conspirators, the people who were actually
the person who took the decision
before he gets to the leadership.
The person who was responsible and giving directives. The person who was responsible for the policy. The person who was responsible for signing or giving authorization for signing is there. he ought to be able to come and respond. I'll give you an example. Napo, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, he's been investigated on this mathematical set. Yeah. I think from his own mouth, okay, his own testimony, when this Wontumi issue came up, he said that he has been to Yoko, or so is it the NIB, a couple of times to go and respond. He said that there are some of the issues he remembers. There are others he does not remember. So he has given them directive as to how they can get their information and if they have any other means to get it.
Luckily
that
for
is
us,
all
we have
seeking.
someone from the OSP who will be speaking to us now. I'm not sure if he's on now.
We are saying,
he's
we
not.
are
When
saying
he's on,
that,
you get to him. But
all we are saying that Ken, as the head of our Ministry of Finance, who took decisions and gave directives and gave authorizations for decisions to be taken, should come and answer questions.
All right.
Simple.
All right. Point made. Mr. Jabab, Kojo Poku is saying that don't look for the leader immediately. There are so many other avenues to get information to feed your investigation, right, before you start looking for the leader. Nana Osapon is saying that it seems it's happening concurrently. They're looking for the leader. They're going to find more information from the people that they believe have the information for them in the investigations that they're carrying out. What do you say to that?
You know why Kojo Poku is saying this?
Why?
Chinua Achebe said, when dry bones are mentioned, all ladies feel uneasy.
Feel uneasy.
I think he used the word conspirators of Ken Ofori-Atta. I think Kojo Poku is one of the conspirators. Otherwise, he will not be so much bothered.
You cannot, well, he's here. So
you know, I think, are you understanding? Otherwise,
please, this is national television. Please, let's not go down that
I just said you are here, so I'll give you the chance to respond.
This is an undefensive point that Kojo Poku is coming from.
Please let him withdraw.
Okay, I'm sorry, you cannot say that. He's here. He says that he's not a conspirator.
He is a conspirator. He's a conspirator of Ken Ofori-Atta. And I don't know who are the conspirators. And I think probably he's one of the conspirators of.
But he doesn't work with Minister of Finance.
As a legislator, you know that.
You can make that statement.
I withdraw.
Kojo, I'm with you on this one.
So what I wanted to say is that he couldn't have said that the conspirators should rather go and answer issues or questions when the man who takes decisions as the Minister of Finance, the whole Minister of Finance, you don't think that man is invited to come and answer questions at Yoko and IAB? That is essential, that is important, and you think that his so-called conspirators should go and answer his questions on his behalf. Man, why is this head off?
He was the person holding our...
Please, I'm listening to Mr.
So I think that is below belt. Ken Ofori-Atta must appear to answer questions. When you pose a question of Madam Said in the Temakulis issue, in the Masrock case to him, he said, oh, the woman appeared, but during trial, it was in absentia. Has Ken Ofori-Atta ever appeared? That's the question. Since Yoko has started inviting him, Ken Ofori-Atta, we need you this time, it has been postponement of date upon date up to now. So this joint investigation body looking Ken Ofori-Atta is in the right direction. No one has accused. They say, come and answer questions. We found some irregularities during your tenure as Minister of Finance. ABC, come and answer. If you answer and the law thinks that you are right, nobody has the right to accuse you.
Okay.
So what is wrong about that?
We have Sami Dako online now. He is Director of Strategy and Research, Office of the Special Prosecutor. So welcome to the program. I know you've been listening to us and you have some response as well. Let's hear you out first and then we can probe the issues. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that it doesn't appear that every time we have to come back and clarify, but the clarity has to do with something you yourself have said as a journalist in your conversation. You said that OSP went to SML, raided SML, and destroyed things. Please, were you there when OSP went to SML?
I saw photos in the Daily Graphic yesterday, right here, when I saw photos of some of the wiring that had been destroyed. And I read the articles. Yesterday, I even listened to Dr. Sapong, who is the director.
Destroyed.
Say again?
You are still using the word destroy. The fact that you see a wiring does not mean that things
All right,
have
so I
been
stand
destroyed.
corrected. Exactly what happened to the infrastructure there?
All right, so what I want I will talk about it, but what is important for us as media people is that we have to be careful what we tell people, because you could have simply also said that allegedly things have been destroyed.
But I saw, what are you talking about, Mr. Dako?
What you saw is not what could be the case. So if you see something as a journalist, it doesn't mean that you have witnessed it. So first of all, I'm just helping you with language that you should be able to see allegedly destroyed.
So,
It helps.
Mr. Dako,
Other than that, you create
I hear
an
you
impression
clearly. I hear you clearly that
If you
it was
can allow
not
me
destroyed. Hold on.
then-
Let's have a conversation. You said it was not destroyed. I saw that some wiring, and mind you, I have been to that office. I have seen how, I've been to the office in Tema. I have seen for myself how the things operate. I have seen the wiring and all that. So the photos I saw yesterday in the Daily Graphic is not what I saw over there. So when you say it was not destroyed, exactly what happened to those infrastructure?
Again, let me help with the situation. As a journalist and as a former journalist...
As a journalist, I'm telling you that I stand corrected. You're not giving me the other word for it. If it was not destroyed, what happened?
When you are talking... As a journalist, when you are speaking about something that you've not witnessed yourself, it's important that you use the word alleged. OSP went to SML on a warrant.
So after a newspaper has reported on this, and we've seen photos that the wirings have been torn from the actual compartment or wherever they were, I shouldn't use the word destroy. And I'm asking you, what happened? You want to remain on the fact that I'm a journalist. I'm asking you to correct me. If it was not destroyed, what happened to it? That's all. And then we can move forward with more clarity.
And then this is what I'm doing that you are interfering. I said that for a journalist, you have to use the word alleged. But OSP went to SML on a warrant from a court to
Yes, absolutely. No one has disputed that. So I'm saying that...
I'm making a point. Will you let me make
Hold on, Nana Sapon, let me moderate this. No, hold on. No, hold on. Please mute Nana Sapon. Go ahead, Mr. Dako.
All right. So OSP went to SML premises with a search warrant.
Yes.
Now, we went to SML premises for specific things. Now, when a search is being conducted and we need to take some documents back to the offices, those documents we will take back because that is why we were there. Now, in taking back things to the office, things have to be disconnected. So if you see wiring and all that, it means that those things were disconnected. Now, when we do a search and we are doing these things, there's something we call seizure notices, where SML signed on everything that we took from their premises. In fact, SML IT staff were the ones who disconnected these things. Because why we are there is to be able to take particular things that we are investigating. So that is what we did. It does not mean that when you see wiring lying around, of course, the wirings were connected to certain things. And because we have taken those things away, you will not see those things there. It does not mean that we have destroyed things there. Also, there have been news of some directors pick up and all that. Some of these directors that were picked up are not even people we are investigating. Some of them were picked up purely for what we call obstruction of justice. So when the law enforcement comes to your premises with a warrant from a court and you try not to allow them to do their work, you'll be causing an offense called obstruction of justice. So some of them were picked up purely for obstruction of justice. Then on another scale, we have talked about this trial in absentia, and what I want to say about these things is that it's important that we understand that trial in absentia only happens after the plea of an accused has been taken in court. An accused then decides not to show up in court again, or the accused, based on his rowdy behavior, is excused from attending to court. So when I hear every day, if you have a case, go to court and try him, I'm asking myself, why are we rushing with the pre-trial investigation stages? Because right now we are at the pre-trial investigation stages. So where does this trial in absentia comes about? Are we saying that now everybody who police wants to investigate, a person will say, if you have any case against me, go to court and file it and maybe I'll come or I'll not come? No. Trial in absentia should be understood that it only happens after a person has been charged. He becomes an accused person. And then his plea is taken. After that, trial in absentia can happen, whether he comes or not. Just like Madam Sedinam, she had been charged, her plea had been taken, and then subsequently she had bail and didn't show up. Then trial and absentia will kick in. So people have to understand when we are talking about trial and absentia, we are not there yet. We are still at the pre-investigative stages. And at the pre-investigative stages, there are so many things law enforcement may need somebody to come and do. Not necessarily to take a statement from the person, because we know that a person can even decide not to say anything. But even if he won't say anything, he still needs to say, I won't say anything, even on a paper. I'm just saying if that is even what the person wants to do. But there are several things that are done at the pre-trial stages. And then finally, when we are investigating someone, there are so many people who are also being investigated. So the fact that one person's name is mentioned does not also mean that other people are not being investigated in connection with that case. So that if there's a talk, why is it that only Ken Ofori-Atta? Ken Ofori-Atta matter wouldn't have even come to the public domain if he had honored the invitation earlier. Nothing like that would have even been known by the public. The time would have known would be maybe the time that charges have been filed. But it's because of this inability to cooperate with law enforcement. That's why this matter has escalated to the level that we now need international support to enforce its attendance before the law enforcement agency. This is the short input I wanted to make.
Thank you so much. Just one last, more clarity on this issue. I listened to Dr. Sapong yesterday on Newsnight, and she said that they were willing to give you every information that you requested. So really, there was no need for you to have come in there. And I'm paraphrasing here, not verbatim. Exactly what were you looking for that SML couldn't have provided either in, electronic form, papers, I don't know, that you had to go and disconnect, like you said, their metering system or infrastructure, whatever it was that you did.
There is no metering system that we even disconnected. So SML makes some accusations which doesn't even sit well. First of all, I heard them say that we should have given them notice before coming there. And I was asking myself, when police is coming to, say, look for an armed robber, will he give the person a notice?
Yeah.
It's not done. That's why we call it searches. That's why for such searches, warrant is obtained ex parte, because you are not supposed to know that we are coming to your facility. It's based on intelligence. That's why we come to your facility. Secondly, if SML says they've been very cooperative, that is also inaccurate. Because if they've been very cooperative, then the law enforcement will not need to come physically to your offices to get exactly the documentation that they need. So if you see a law enforcement agency go to your premises, it means that there are things there that they don't have access to, that they need access to. That may be why a law enforcement agency goes to such a premise. So this whole argument that we should have given them prior notice before we come and do our search is neither here nor there, because it doesn't even happen in theory, let alone in practice. There's this element of surprise that has to come to you. Other than that, then if we had notified you, then you could pick out things that we may need. Secondly, even when we were on their premises, I don't have to disclose much, but I have to say this. They refuse to give access to password to certain things, even with a lawful order. So once you refuse such things, then in essence, you are trying to say that you don't want to cooperate. I want to say here that the OSP is a very law-abiding law enforcement agency that is very transparent and very professional. And even with whatever we did at SML, everything was filmed. And that is why I'm telling you that SML officers, their head of IT, whoever we took documents from, you are given what we call seizure forms, where every item we took, even if it is a wall clock, is listed. Then your officers and our officers will go through and check them one by one before your officers will sign and we will sign. And then a duplicate copy is then given to you. Ask SML whether they don't have a duplicate copy of everything that the OSP has been able to seize from their premises. They do have it. So this was a very lawful exercise conducted in a very humane manner, in a very fair, transparent manner, where they were allowed to see whatever was going on. They were told why we were there and exactly what we were looking for. But to come back and say OSP has destroyed, of course, if you have a computer and say we have to take the computer away, of course, the socket and the rest will be there. But when you see a socket, it does not mean that OSC has destroyed your computer, because your computer is intact with the OSC. If there is a door and you are supposed to open the door and you refuse to open the door, of course, law enforcement agency will use minimal order to be able to have access to that door, because they have a lawful permission to enter that premises and search for what they are searching for.
All right. Mr. Daku, thank you. So all this is in the pre-trial stage, like you said, right? We have not gotten to all this. I mean, investigating SML and all that is all part of the pre-trial stage of Ken Ofori-Atta, GRA, all those, right? Pre-trial stage. I just want confirmation.
Well, it can even be that SML is not just Ken Ofori-Atta. There are so many things that we are investigating.
Okay, so what's the charge, or what's the subject of the investigation into SML? Is there a charge yet, or what is the subject of it? Can you tell us that?
We are investigating. There is nothing more that we can disclose at this stage. When investigations are done, as the law has mandated the Office of the Special Prosecutor, we are supposed to update the public, let them know what has happened.
True.
And even with this update, some people think that it means that the OSC is talking too much, but it's not so. The law allows us to update the public.
Oh, I mean, this is helpful. So we all follow, you know, and understand. You did come, I mean, this administration did come into power on the back of transparency. So this is not you talking too much. I just want to know, we know the issues that have surrounded SML, the KPMG report. We know all that. I'm just curious as to exactly what the subject of this new investigation or this, now I can't even call it a raid, it's a search. You know, you say a search, a lawful search, you said. So what is the subject of it? Just in a sentence or, you know, a phrase. What is the subject of that search?
That's why I just told you that at this stage we can't give you...
You can't tell us the subject of the search.
The subject of the search. No, we can also... We are looking for certain electronic documentation.
Is it in connection with the SML GRA case that you're looking for Ken Ofori-Atta for?
Yes, the OSP has listed that it is investigating the SML contract as well as the revenue assurances that had been put out. So that is the subject of the investigation, the SML contract and revenue assurances. And I'm saying that it does not mean that it's only Ken Ofori-Atta who is being investigated. There are multiple people involved in this investigation. The fact that you have not seen their names out there does not mean that others is not a broader investigation. It is a broader investigation. I'm saying that the only reason why Mr. Ofori-Atta's name has come up is because he has not been cooperative with law enforcement agency. And law enforcement agency is using legitimate means to ensure his attendance before the OSP.
Mr. Samuel Apia Daku, thank you for spending some time with us this morning. He's a Director of Strategy, Research and Communication Division of Office of the Special Prosecutor. Gentlemen, so we've got our clarity now. So they said they disconnected their some parts of their system because they were looking for information.
I just noticed he's in charge of
distraction of
the
anything.
Strategy and Communication Division.
Yeah.
So if you have sat down as a head of communication and allowed pictures and videos to circulate to depict the fact that, or the narrative that things were destroyed, sat down over how many days now?
Or just 2 days.
And it's become a subject for discussion. When you have the opportunity, you do not come to correct English. You use that opportunity to do the work you should have done days ago, which you didn't do. That is what you do. Now, if I am here, I wasn't at SML, and I see pictures and videos. I am not an electrician. So when I see wires hanging, what I know is that you have taken what you have taken, but things have been destroyed.
I've just been told that I have to wrap up in 2 or 3 minutes.
When they are given positions to handle, they should be able to deal with matters on time.
All right.
Real-time
I want
matters.
to come back to you, but let me check with Kojo Poku on Zoom, and then I'll come back to you to wrap up. So Kojo Poku, did we lose Kojo Poku? Do we have Kojo Poku online? All right, Mr. Jabab, go ahead.
On the SML,
I'll come back to you. Yeah.
Listen, I think what the director said The worry is that, you see, both you and I, we don't work at SML. Like you said, you have the opportunity visiting them the other time. And when you went, the state in which you saw the alignment of gadgets and whatnot, probably the pictures you saw later post a different image. So it will draw your attention to make a conclusion. And if you made that conclusion, you are right. So, like Nana put it, what he was supposed to have been doing now is rather taking us back, the state. So I think that not all of us understood what actually went on there. Probably he said they did that in line with their work. They wanted some information. That's why as a law enforcement agency, they did that just to ascertain or get that information.
All right.
But the work he should have done is to let the public understand this, rather than taking us back to his office of a special prosecutor.
Thank you.
When most of us are not there. Thank you.
The
So,
pre-trial...
Kojopoku, he's saying that the man was, Samidako was saying that this is all pre-trial stage, which means that there are so many other entities that are being investigated, but their names are not thrown out. It's just that we know of Ken Ofori-Atta. So that point we're making as to whether or not we can focus on the co-conspirators or whoever else is involved before we look for the leader. I think they're doing everything concurrently according to the law. And so we cannot start talking about trial in absentia as at this time yet. And then you can briefly touch on SML and we're going to pop off.
Yes, I agree 100%. So he goes on to rebuff my point that there should be conspirators and collaborators. And the point that he made, which is very clear, is that when you were making your submission, you should have just used the word alleged, which is the right thing to do, because since nobody is there, if we are reporting some of these things, we just use alleged. That's why we have
cameras and that's why we have pictures and videos.
Well, most of these reportages are not true. And for my brother to say that, oh, they sat down. These days, do somebody sit down for pictures to be leaked to the media? Pictures are taken by everybody with a camera is a reporter these days. So how does he use it that he sat there? What did he do? Are you saying that it was the OSP that released those pictures? It was other people in the offices that released those pictures. But to my point, I'm happy that my brother withdrew that statement he made, because for me it was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yes, because you cannot say a gentleman like me who has never in the last 8 years done any government contract, okay, was not part of the Nanado's administration, you call him a co-conspirator. I'm a very well-to-do businessman who just wants to be president of this country one day.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. So, gentlemen, it's rather sad. I thought we'd have so much time and get into the papers. But
so let
me just wrap up some quick headlines. I'm not listening to you. Massive rot at GES as OSP uncovers widespread fake schools and appointments. Yes, I was reading that story this morning. NAPO is under investigation for mathematical sets, procurement, and other issues. So Deputy Attorney General Sremsai has also revealed that. And the New Republic says AGI's James Bond's loot. I don't know what that is. There's just headlines.
This one it's key. $300,000 equipment for Shraj goes to waste.
All right, that's all that time will allow. I'm sorry.
Services.
Yeah. So those who joined us for the conversation this morning, we had Mr. Jabab Kofi Nelson, he's Member of Parliament for Karachi East. Nanaya Sapon is from the Movement for Change, and Kojopoku is an energy analyst. And we also spoke to Mr. Sami Dako. He is the Director for Research Strategy and Communication Division of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Some dedications, and then we go. This is coming from Benjamin Akakbo. He says, a very happy birthday to my very own sweetheart, our mommy ma, our grandma, Yakoba Nelly Ajimang. You are 87 today, and we thank God for your life and the great things he has done with you. You are such a cheerful breath of air. From the entire Ajimang, Jemfi, and Akakbo families, we say, good Lord richly bless and keep you. Happy birthday, mommy ma. I love that. And there's a second one. He says, happy birthday to Reverend Kenneth Senyo Fiati of the Makers House Chapel International, Hope Arena branch. We love you. From Pastor Kennedy Amponsa Chireme, the Makers House, Hope Arena. Thank you all so much for watching. Welcome to, so before I go, we have entered day 2 of the Basic Education Certificate Examination, and Adobe Asari is on grounds right now, and she's bringing us some details of what's happening this morning. But welcome to the 3rd hour of the AM show. Adobe Asari is on grounds and takes over now.
the 2025 Basic Education Certificate Examination, and we are here at Accra High School, where 5 schools are expected to partake in today's examination with 134 students from all 5 schools combined. Now, today they'll be writing 2 subjects. The first is English and the second is Career Technology. Career Technology is a blend of what we knew to be pre-technical skills and home economics. And I have here Ridge Church School and North Ridge Lyceum. Now, when I was engaging the students earlier, they were excited. Once again, like yesterday, there's no iota of nervousness. They are hopeful. It looks like yesterday's papers went very well. So I want to engage some of the students quickly and then find out how they're doing. Hi, you are Samuel, right?
Yes, please.
How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing great.
You're nervous?
Not that much.
How was yesterday's papers?
Yesterday's papers went well. Yeah. My highlight, I'll say social studies.
And how prepared are you for today?
Oh, I'm really prepared. Yeah.
Amazing. I spoke to Samantha too. Samantha, is Samantha here? Hi, Samantha. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Are you okay?
Yes.
I hope you're not nervous.
No, I'm not nervous.
How prepared are you for today's papers? And how did yesterday's papers go?
I'm very prepared for today's papers. And yesterday's papers went well.
You and your colleagues are getting 111 today?
Yes.
Okay, there's another lady who reminds me so much of myself when I was in JHS. Her name is Obahima. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
How was yesterday's papers?
Oh, they were all good.
And today's?
Yeah, we are now preparing for them, but it seems to be going really well.
You are hoping to get 1 in both subjects today?
Yes, please.
Okay, all the best to you. So as you can see in short, they are preparing. When we came earlier, we saw that they were studying, they were reading their books, talking to their teacher. I have one of their teachers here. His name is Godwin. Hi, sir. Good morning. Please get closer to us. How are you doing?
I'm good by grace.
Were you here with them yesterday?
Yes, I was with them.
What was their conduct yesterday?
Oh, okay. Initially, they felt so anxious. And definitely, it's a normal thing students normally feel when they're going to write exams. But when they got to the exam hall, I think when everything was set up for them to start the paper, they were okay because they've written a lot of mocks in school. And with that, they were fully prepared for it. So they were able to write it.
And when they came out, what was the mood like?
Oh, they were happy. They said it went well for them. So.
And today, how are you seeing the thing?
Oh, writing the first and second paper, I think everything becomes cool. So today they are okay. They are ready for it.
Yesterday, I know no examination or practice case was recorded here. What measures have you put in place to ensure that your students don't indulge in that like the other people who did?
All right. For my school, we teach RME. And in RME, we teach them a lot of things. We know examination or practice is against the laws of examination or the rules of examination. So we've instilled that in them, and not just teaching them, we want them to practice it. So that in future, we are not going to get corrupt leaders. We want the leaders who can be able to help develop the country. So truly, they have been trained well in the school, and due to that, they don't practice that in the exam hall.
Thank you so much, Sir Godwin. He's a teacher with North Ridge Lyceum. As you can see, they are still preparing. I'll go on to the next school, which is the Ridge Church School. I mean, this school has massive support. There are parents here. They have the chairman of the PTA. They have the vice chairman. I mean, their support is just massive, and they've been studying since we got here. And it's just a beautiful sight to see. I'll speak to some of the students. Where is she? Hi, how are you? Please come. What's your name?
My name is Adepa.
How prepared are you for today's papers? First of all, how did yesterday's papers go?
They all went well.
What was your highlight?
What does it mean?
I mean, which paper went very, very, very good for you?
Social studies.
And today?
English and then career technology.
You're fine?
Yes.
And do you believe you and your colleagues will all get 111, right?
Yes.
All the best to you. There was another gentleman I spoke to. Papa. Hi, please come. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you nervous? Are you scared? Are you excited? Tell us.
Okay, so the first 2 papers went very well for me. I'm not the BC. The pressure before is what actually makes the exam. You think that the exam is something difficult, but when you sit down and you start writing, it's a very simple paper.
So today's a 1-1 for you too.
Yes, please.
As well as your colleagues.
Yeah. As for the English, I'm very, very prepared. The career technology, a bit of things I have to recap, but The battle is the Lord's.
And I see that's exactly what you're doing, right? Okay, all the best to you. So that's those were students from not Rich Church, sorry. So I'd like to speak to a parent who came here to support her ward. Hello, ma'am. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Have you been doing this all the time? Was this your first?
This is my first time. But I'm also a PTA executive, so it's the reason why I'm here.
So for how long are you going to stay?
Maybe when they enter for their first paper, then I'll leave.
You have a daughter or a son?
A son.
And how are you feeling knowing that your son is about to take a very important, you know, this is a milestone, and it's his first external exam. How does that make you feel as a parent?
It's a bit emotional, but I think they've prepared enough. So with that, I think I'm okay.
You're having a proud mother moment, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. We also have here the PTA chairman, right, of the Rich Church School. He's in the person of Mr. Bernard Donko. Hello, sir. Yes, I do. How are you doing?
I'm okay, madam.
Okay, what's the conduct of the candidates so far?
I think the candidates are, or I should say our learners are ready. I think our learners are ready. They are well composed, and they are confident that this year they will do excellently.
I know coming here shows that you're supporting them, you are rooting for them, but what other measures have you put in place to let them know that you've got their back and then to make them comfortable?
Yeah, so we had a prayer session for them last week, and then we told them that they should expect our support because we've been with them since they were in KG. And if you've been with them up to this level, there's nothing but support that we can give them. So we made sure that whatever will make them comfortable here, the PTA has also provided for them.
A while ago, I even saw them praying. I think you do a lot of prayer and a lot of preparations. That's important to you, right?
Yes, it's a church school, so I don't think you should expect anything less. Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. We have some teachers here, right? Is there a teacher here? Oh, we have the head teacher of the Rich Church School. Mommy, please join us here. Yes, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
I'm okay. Thank you for asking. So what measures have you put in place? Yesterday we recorded cases of exam malpractice. I mean, not here, but in other examination centers. But none of that was reported here. What measures have you put in place to ensure that your students don't indulge in such things?
As a school, one of our values is integrity. And once you join Rich School, it's something we talk about in examinations. When you cheat, you get 0 outright. So the children are already conscious of avoiding or being part of any malpractice. We also told them, if you cheat, your paper is likely to be cancelled. And this is something they are carrying. So that is it. And there is a Christian school. We preach the word of God to them every day. And we are telling them that even if everybody is cheating, they should dare to be the Daniel among the people, to stand alone. Yeah, very, very important.
Thank you so much. Do you have a message for any candidates out there?
Oh, just what I'll tell them is they should be courageous. We've prepared them enough. They should go in the power of God's might and relax and write the exam. They don't need to be anxious. Be anxious for nothing. That's what the Bible says. So I believe that once they are well prepared, they focus on the exam, they will do well.
So much. So there you have it. Later today, we'll be touring other examination centers with the WAEC boss. It's in the person of Professor Thomas Yoma. And so we'll bring you updates of that as and when in our subsequent bulletin. Sweetie, over to you.
Adobe Asari, thank you so much for bringing us details right on ground as we've entered day 2 of the Basic Education Certificate Examination. And guess who joins me in studio? Benjamin Akako. Benjamin.
Hey. Well, we've been having some interesting conversations this morning. Let's also usher in John Kapi. He is Head of Public Affairs at the West African Examinations Council, and he'll be telling us a bit about the preparations and everything so far. Mr. Kapi, a very good morning to you, sir. Hello, Mr. Kapi. Please unmute for us, please. All right, it appears we'll have to work the technical bits to get John Kapi to join the conversation. But already, sweetie, you had started talking about some of what has been happening. Adobe Asari has taken us on the grounds. There are some interesting bits on my mind this year when it comes to the BEC. You know, usually they would start on a Monday.
Yes.
And I'm
Because of
curious to
Salah.
find out.
It was because of
I found
Salah.
out there was no holiday on Monday.
Well, okay, so YX said that they had anticipated that there would be a holiday
Right.
because of, I don't know how they calculated it. And so that's why for the very first time this year, BC is starting on a Wednesday.
It's interesting again because I've heard that, but at the same time, there was ample time from the communication from, I think, the Ministry of Interior and all of that. And, you know, I don't know whether there wasn't enough time or logistical, but we'll find out from Mr. Kapi. Do we have Mr. Kapi on the line now? All right. Mr. Kapi, a very good morning to you. Hello, John Kapi. If you can hear me, a very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. We're grateful you've chosen us to speak here. Just my initial question. Some questions have been asked about why this time it's starting on a Wednesday, not a Monday, and the lateness of finding out that Monday wasn't a holiday. What exactly happened? Just briefly on that.
Right. So, good morning to your listeners. Basically, what happened was that, you know, when there was the program for our Muslim brothers and sisters, they gave them 2 days holiday. So we thought that this time around there was going to be something like that. Unfortunately, we didn't have any message from the powers that be. So we had to resort to, you know, just to be on the safer side and also allowing our Muslim brothers and sisters to enjoy their holiday. So that is why we moved it from Monday to Wednesday.
Does that mean the communication from the Interior Ministry came to you rather late? At least I saw some posts hinting at the fact that there would be no holiday on Monday. Was it too late to act?
Well, yes, the message from the Interior Ministry came late. Usually we are supposed to prepare our logistics, prepare our personnel, and so we always work ahead of time. Right. Now, when the message wasn't forthcoming, we thought that to be on the safer side, we'll simply move it 2 days ahead so that nobody gets disadvantaged in the course of the examination.
Right. Before Sweetie comes in, I'm here with Sweetie Abochi. The preparations so far, what have they been like? I know you are constantly preparing for each day that comes. And how about financial preparations? How about logistical preparations, human resource? Is everything in place for you?
Yeah, fortunately, we've been able to get about 50-55% of the funds we need for the BEC this year. So we have been able to procure all the logistics that we would need. All the printing has been done. All the personnel we need to be in the field have also been dispatched. They've arrived safely, and we had a successful day yesterday. So we believe that going forward, we'll be able to, you know, work within our timelines in order that the candidates get their results early enough to proceed to the senior high school.
So with 50-55% funds available, are there any outstanding or any regions standing out in terms of smooth execution or challenges for this year?
Well, we have been given assurances that the rest of the money will be paid to us as we go along with the conduct of the examination. So certainly, we believe that before the end of the examination, we'll get some more money so that there wouldn't be any break in the process. We should be able to finish the marking and processing of the results early enough for the candidates to proceed to the senior high schools.
So we are now on day 2 of the BEC exam. Were there any recorded incidents of examination malpractice or attempted examination malpractice, which has become quite topical now every time these students are sitting exams?
Yes, so we had so far, the reported cases are about 10. We had one supervisor who had a mobile phone. He had taken snapshots of the questions and posted on social media. There were 6 other invigilators who also had in their possession mobile phones, and on the mobile phones were pictures of the questions. There was also one lady who described herself as a fashion designer. She had in her possession photocopied responses that she was going to distribute to the candidates, and then one student nurse and one administrator of a private school. All of these people were trying to solve the questions and then send same to the candidates in the examination hall. Our monitors were swift enough to pick them up. We are still gathering reports from some of the other centers that we could not get yesterday.
And how is WAEC swiftly responding to these breaches? What are you doing to these 9 culprits now?
Well, for now, these 9 have been handed over to the law enforcement agencies. Their actions are considered criminal per the WAEC law. So they've been handed over to the police, and the police will work out and get them to court. Yesterday, I was in a conversation with the NIB boss in the Ahafo region, and I mentioned to him some of the hotspots that we had discovered based on the responses that were coming from there. And so he gave me the assurance that they were going to deploy some of their staff to those areas to ensure that sanity prevails. Again, the Ghana Education Service has sent out some personnel. They are helping with the monitoring of the examination centers. Our personnel are also out there, and we think that our increased presence will deter people from engaging in these acts.
Benjamin comes right in, but I'm curious to know, does this shake your confidence in the integrity of the examinations at all? It's day 1 and we have 9 people already.
Well, these are isolated cases that have been reported. Generally, I myself went out yesterday in the Accra metropolis. All the places I visited, there was sanity. So what will happen is that wherever we have these reports coming from, we send personnel. If we are not able to send personnel, but then the reports reach us, what we're going to do is that we're going to scrutinize their scripts when the exam is done, just to ensure that, they don't have any undue advantage over the other candidates in the course of the examination.
Mr. Kapi, you spoke about 50 to 55% of the sums you require, monetary, to commence work, and that suffices for now. Are there plans for the rest to be paid? When are we looking at, and how will you account for the gap in the end?
Well, I'm speaking with the Director of Finance yesterday. He told me that he had been told to come to the ministry and pick up some further checks in terms of payment for the BEC. So these assurances have been given, and we believe that they would live up to the assurances and then fulfill whatever it is. Whatever obligation they have towards us. So we just being hopeful that the money should be available to enable us to complete the exercise.
So how much in total was required, that is 100%, to run the BECE, and about how much have you received so far?
Unfortunately, I don't have the figures right in front of me. But in terms of percentage, I'm told that we've received a little over 50% for the BECE.
In terms of exam malpractice, and some people have said that it's really impacting our educational system, because if you cheat and move forward, it means basically you don't qualify. And that has the ripple effect at SHS level, at the tertiary level, and beyond. Some instances have been brought to bear, the 9 you mentioned and all of that. Are there additional measures this year to root out exam malpractice? What exactly has WAEC done?
So as a council, we decided to hold our stakeholder engagements across the country. We were in every region. You realize that most of the time when we report these cases, a number of the people are teachers. They are the immediate, if you want, culprits. And so we held stakeholder engagements with regional directors of education, district directors of education. We also had proprietors, associations that operate private schools. We had the NIB, we had the police service, we had chiefs. And so this cross-section of people were those that we met. We brought before them these issues or these challenges, if you want. And then we solicited their support, because the council alone, considering our numbers, would not be able to weed out these things. In some cases, some of the people conceded that in their areas of jurisdiction, they've had these challenges, and people within their communities were actually culpable. And so our appeal to them was simply that they should come to our aid, they should, assess the council, monitor the examinations, and ensure that the certification that we are going to do would actually be what is supposed to be done, that whoever earns any certificate earns it, honestly. So this is one major thing that we've done. We've been in collaboration with the NIB, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Education Service, and in fact, the Ministry of Education. They have also deployed a number of people out there, and the Director General has indicated that any teacher who is found culpable could even lose their job. So we believe that with these things that we put in place, people would try to comply, and if possible, we bring to the barest minimum these issues of examination malpractices.
Do you think we need stiffer penalties for schools, centers, pupils themselves, staff, even WIAC staff sometimes, and supervisors to ensure that they have the necessary fear in them not to engage in these acts? Do you think stiffer penalties are required?
Certainly, it is something that we have considered because I would say that, for example, there have been areas where we've been to, and when the people are charged in court and they are told, for example, that you've been fined this amount there, and then they pay and they go away. So we've observed that these penalties are not punitive enough. So as a council, we are trying to review the WIAC law. It takes quite a while. We are, a distance into the process, and we believe that we'll be able to come up with some fresh laws that will enable us to come up with stiffer punishments to deter people from engaging in this kind of thing. Again, the Ghana Education Service is willing to support us in terms of sanctioning all the teachers who are found culpable. So I believe that if all of these are brought to bear, there will be some sanity in the course of the conduct of our examinations.
Just to cap off on this point, as Sweetie comes back into the fray, you speak about fresh laws. Of course, it's part of the solution. Which entity is spearheading that? Is it the Ghana Education Service? What contribution is WIAC making in that regard when it comes to these fresh laws? And please add to that this whole bit about allowing people to resit their exams at the basic level. During my time, that did not exist. So it was one time and you either passed or you failed, and the rest of your life was before you. Is that part of the solution, allowing people to resit so that then there's no such pressure that if you don't make it this time, you can't ever make it?
Well, the issue of resit at BEC was something that was introduced by the Ghana Education Service because we're told that there were a number of them who, for one reason or the other, could not make it. Especially, you recall that a number of people were mentioned as being unable to sit for the examination yesterday. So if you mix, for example, social studies, you don't have that grade, and so going forward is going to affect you. So that was why they decided to introduce BEC for private candidates, just so that for those who were unable to make it for this exam would have the opportunity to write come the following year. So that was actually what happened. It was something that we used not to do, but as the years went by, it became necessary for us to conduct the exam for those who were unable to write. There are others also who probably have had home tuition, not necessarily being able to go through the normal school system. So if they want to write, why not? They should be given the opportunity to write. Now, regarding the WIAC law, yes, our legal team has been looking at the law. They've been looking at the provisions, the punishments that go with them. And what we've also done has been to solicit the support of other, legal brains in the country who would assist us to come up with, a more refined WIAC law where, we'll take a look at the penalties again and see if there will be a possibility of probably, making them stiffer so that people wouldn't just take the law for granted, but will ensure that they, comply and then we do away with issues of examination malpractice.
Something that Ben said wants me to ask you about pregnant students. He said, if you fail, then the rest of your life is before you. I think there's a growing trend in pregnant and nursing mothers sitting the exam, particularly in the north and some parts of the Volta region. Has there been any strategy put in place to ensure that they are supported fairly during this examination period?
Usually, you only get to know about pregnant candidates when the exam is ongoing. But then, per the GES rules, there is no provision for any, pregnant candidates. What we try to do is that for every examination center, there is a kind of infirmary or a makeshift clinic where candidates will be given first aid, and if there's a need for them to be sent to a bigger health facility, they are transported there. So regarding pregnant students, there is no specific provision for them in the course of the conduct of the exam.
Mr. Kapi, this isn't the first time we'd be hearing of such a situation. Going back 4 or 5 years, as far as I have read on so far, is it possible that you make provisions for it because you know there might be at least one student who's pregnant, so they're supported fairly?
So this is an issue that we have to pick up with the Ghana Education Service because they are the ones who actually own this examination. So if, for example, they ask that, what has happened in previous years has been that when people are indisposed, we try to see how we take the question papers to them wherever they are, especially in health facilities, for them to be able to write. That is, if they are in a position to write. But what we realized was that people were using that as an advantage to, engage in other forms of malpractice. People were cheating even from the hospitals. So the council took a decision that henceforth we're not going to do that. If they could even bring you to the center on a stretcher, and there's an invigilator beside you at the exam center, certainly you'll be allowed to write. So we probably would have to go back and look at this rule again in conjunction with in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service to see if there will be a kind of refinement of the rule so that anybody in this situation probably will be given the opportunity, or will find a way of getting them also to have the opportunity of writing the exam.
So there are some gaps in the information I gathered on the technology and security, because I know that in 2023, you piloted the digital tagging of exam scripts in some centers. Have you built on a digital tracking system tested since then to scale up monitoring and deter leaks so far? How far is that, aspect going?
What we've tried to introduce now has been what is termed serialization, for the objective test, or what they call item randomization. There are so many technical terms that are used in describing that, so that we are able to detect, transfer of questions, if you want, or responses from one center to another. If, for example, you are in center A, your questions are different from those in center B. If they bring you responses from center B, obviously you are going to get them wrong. This is something that we have started specifically with the objective test. Going forward, plans are far advanced for us to see if we can replicate same in the written papers, just so that even if people are photocopying or taking snapshots and posting on social media, it's not going to be beneficial to the candidates in the examination halls.
So this was tested from 2023, last year too, before this year, tested and approved? Just for clarity.
Yes, yes, we have had these types of tests from 2023, and it's worked well for us. Yes,
okay.
It has.
All right. Benjamin.
Let's look at exam malpractice. Let's delve deeper into that. In terms of questions leaking, which we have seen to be an essential part of that, and in terms of impersonation, what has the tide been like so far in respect of these?
We've tried to introduce new rules regarding the printing process. We've usually had our own security personnel, the white local security. We have the police there. In recent times, we've brought in the NIB as well. The entire facility, the printing facility is, we have installed CCTV cameras in the entire facility. And so we are able to monitor and ensure that the printing is done in an atmosphere where nobody has an advantage to do anything untoward. So the issue of leakage has been something that we have not experienced over the period. Now, regarding impersonation, there's, of course, I mean, in every aspect of our law, impersonation is criminal. So for BEC, we haven't had any issues of impersonation per se. It is the WAS that has had a number of impersonators, and all of these persons, once it's an impersonation case, the entire results are cancelled, and then we look out for the culprits and we hand them over to the law enforcement agencies for the law to take its course.
Comparatively, when you look at the last BEC compared to this one, I know you started talking about it, in terms of some of the hurdles or the challenges you face. Are we doing better this time or worse?
Well, this time, I believe that we have moved a notch higher in terms of our timing. Whatever work we had to do before the commencement of the examination was done, we got all the examination stationery printed and dispatched to the centers before time. We were able to finish with the printing and the packaging of the question papers, and everything has reached the candidate in good time. So I would say that generally this year we've been able to do everything within our timelines, and we believe that for us that's a success story.
Just a final bit. In terms of the private institutions, I do know that sometime in April, the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, they were unhappy with some of the registration fee charges, which were brought to bear purportedly without engaging them. Has there been an impact in terms of the private institutions and their participation in this? And what are the plans moving forward in terms of engaging them with rising costs of registration?
Well, regarding examination fees, we usually would hold our budget meeting. There are a number of parameters that are looked at. We look at the exchange rate, we look at the cost of examination material, we look at inflation, and we have a committee, a wide variety of people that we engage. We engage persons from the Finance Ministry, we engage persons from Ghana, Chamber of Commerce. We also engage our own auditors, our own finance teams. So these are people who are well versed in finance, and so they are the ones who determine, how much we charge per candidate. Now, when we are done with this, we present that to the Ministry of Education, and it also goes to a Parliamentary Select Committee on Education. They all take a look at this and say, well, considering the circumstances in which we find ourselves, this particular fee is something that is acceptable. So it is not about white being arbitrary in fixing examination fees. The processes are there that we follow through till the end. So we have advised that if there are any challenges people have, especially the private schools have, in terms of examination fees, the best place to go would be to the Ministry of Education, where these issues should be ironed out. And if there will be any mitigation that can be done for them, it will be done at that level. As far as we are concerned, we would have gone through the processes that are laid out for us. And so if the ministry comes out and says that this is an additional thing that we need to do by way of maybe reducing the examination fees, why not? As a council, we'll go ahead and do it, because then the deficit will be borne by the states.
Yeah, Mr. Kapi, it is the fourth industrial revolution, and AI is integrated in so many things now. Are there any strategies in place to ensure that students are not somehow using AI, or are you encouraging them to use AI in any form? How does AI situated in this year's BEC?
Well, for revision purposes, AI is not something that we'll frown upon, because even as, in our working areas, we also resort to AI once in a while. What we frown upon is the use of AI in the examination hall. Usually what happens is that some of the responses that come, you realize that they are not able to get the specific information they need to answer the specific question. Yeah. They just get information and provide everything on the answer booklet. So that is an area where we frown upon. But then If they use that for their revision, they use that to prepare themselves for the exam, why not? I believe that nobody can stop them from doing that.
So in terms of the numbers, I see that the number of females outnumber the males this year. But I'm also looking at the trends over the last year. Are you seeing an increase in the number of candidates? And is that, from your expert opinion, what's accounting for either the increase or decrease in the numbers?
Over the years, we've realized that the numbers have gone up. I mean, there's always a certain percentage increase in candidature. For, I think, 2 years ago, we had quite a large number because we're going to introduce a new curriculum. And I believe that people may have skipped their children. The Minister of Education tried to, excuse my voice this morning, the Minister of Education tried to see how they could, stop some of them from registering for the BC, but they could not. But then the trend has been that virtually every year there will be a slight increase in the candidature for our examinations, probably because our population is growing. In terms of male-female ratio, over the years we've always had a higher female enrollment than male enrollment. Maybe because the females are more than the males in the country.
Okay. One last top-up before you come in. I saw the statement before the start of the examination, I think it was yesterday, and you mentioned that this year will be the last time that private candidates will be using the old syllabus or would be examined on the old syllabus. Please explain exactly what that means and how candidates or parents can be cautious going forward.
Right. So we believe that for those who are rate-fitting, they would have been taught in the old syllabus. The new curriculum started last year, and we have it also this year. Our assumption is that by next year, we would have been able to phase out all the candidates who probably are schooled in the old syllabus. And so come next year, everybody would be examined on the new curriculum because we believe that they would have gone through the system from basic 1 to basic 3. We usually give a 2 or 3 year grace period. I think we've given a 2-year grace period, and that is what is going to, determine the examinations for next year. So next year, certainly there would no longer be any candidates, or if anybody wants to write, they should prepare using the new curriculum.
But you only made that exception for private candidates for this year.
Yes, that is correct, because we still have some candidates who schooled in the old syllabus. But then those who are in school have done it, I think, for all the 3 years. So that means that they are conversant enough with the new curriculum, and they would be able to use that for the examination.
Mr. Kapi, just a few more questions. Looking at the registration fees, the charges, I got some complaints from some parents who felt, apart from the registration fees, there were some add-ons from some schools. Are these legal? Are they legitimate? Be it 50 cedis or less, or maybe in some instances more. Do you engage the schools on these charges?
Unfortunately, we have not received any formal complaints from any of the parents about this increase. We've heard it also in the news. They've called us for why. What we do is that once we fix the fee, that is what we expect. So, for example, you present to us 100 candidates, the fee is 214. So it's 214 Ghana cedis times the 100 candidates you have. That is all we charge. Some of them have tried to justify the little add-ons that they do. They claim that they have to transport the children from the schools to the examination center. They also claim that they have to make provision for some snack or lunch for the candidates during the course of the examination. A number of reasons have been, assigned. Now, on our part, we do not have the mandate to restrict schools to collecting these fees. All we do is that when you are paying the money to us, we do that based on the number of candidates we have and the fee that we have put out there. So probably they would have to present this particular situation to the Ghana Education Service or the Ministry of Education and seek redress from those quarters. They have the mandate to enforce, the strict payment of the fees that are brought out by the council.
In terms of long-term measures in respect of dealing with exam malpractice, are there any considerations for using closed-circuit television cameras, CCTV, as we usually call them? It's been proposed in the past, and it could help deter cheating. It could also help in evidence gathering, which you usually need when you have to prove that cheating has happened, and also add to the general transparency of the process. Is it something you've considered at any point?
Yes, when we had our stakeholder engagement, these suggestions came up. Some of the people made suggestions that if it were possible, we could, at least for now, have pavilions around the country where the candidates would gather and write the examination, and where we can install these CCTV cameras. Now, to be able to implement something of this nature, we would have to, collaborate with the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education, because there are financial implications. And for us as a council, we are not supposed to be profit-making. All the money we use for our operations come from examination fees. So when there are any extra expenses that come beyond examinations, we need to have some buy-in and probably some contribution from other quarters. So if the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education will come on board, I believe that together we should be able to come up with something like this. Now, when you go around, for example, there are some of the schools that you visit, and they use in excess of 20, 25 classrooms. This is a recipe for, examination malpractice. Because even for us as external monitors, when we go out there, by the time you go round, you move from one room to another, whatever happens behind you, you are unable to tell. So if we are able to do something like this, we believe strongly that it will go a long way to enable us, stick to the rules of the exam, and nobody will have any undue advantage over another.
Now, after day one of this year's BEC exam, if the metrics you've seen are anything to go by, where do you think we're going to make some gains, and where do you foresee that maybe we could incur some losses? And I'm talking about generally exam malpractice, supervisors and how they are faring, students and their approach to the exams. What do you see? Pluses, minuses?
Well, we believe that as compared to last year, by now we had recorded quite a number of infractions. This year, there has been a reduction, probably because of the increased number of persons that are monitoring the examination. Going forward, we believe that the inclusion of several other personnel from other sectors of our educational system, we would be able to curb this particular malpractice. Also, in terms of getting material and other logistics to the examination centers, I believe that so far we haven't had any reports of delays in transmitting question papers. So we think that at least there has been a plus, unlike previously where sometimes some people start about half an hour after others have started. So far, we haven't received any reports. Maybe there are some that have not come to us yet, but we are still monitoring, and we believe that this year would be a little better than what we had last year.
My final bit to you, and Sweetie will wrap up the conversation. I'm curious, if you put pass rates side by side with the quota of exam malpractice, and you also juxtapose all of that with the rest of the West African sub-region, though we don't have it technically like the WAEC West Africa setup that we used to have. It is now at least what we do here. When you put it side by side with Nigeria, and they have a name for this level and all of that, what comes up in terms of the quality we are producing?
Well, we haven't done any scientific study in this area, but then, we talk about them in percentage terms. Now, Nigeria is highly populated, and so when we talk about percentages, obviously they would record a higher, number of infractions as compared to us here in Ghana. But then they also have their kind of challenges. They are a bit more complex than we ours are. I don't have the specific information with me right now. I probably would have shared a little bit of it. But then I think in all the member countries, there are, pockets of... we chanced upon some Telegram pages in the course of the WAS for the other countries. They have done their WAS already. We are yet to write ours. We realized that there were a number of Telegram pages that were operating, and the subscribers, 1 million, So it is something that is disturbing. But then I think that each country has specific ways by which they are going about it. I believe that going forward, and of course, when we meet, we compare notes and then we see how, we can assist each other in solving this problem. So going forward, I believe that we'll be able to get over this canker. We just need to have the collaboration of the wider society for them to understand, the dangers involved with this kind of, thing that we do with examination malpractice.
John Kapi, Head of Public Affairs for the West African Examination Council, thank you for spending some time with us this morning. And that's how we're wrapping up this belt of conversations. But before we go, you have to take note that the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management Ghana is presenting the CIHRM 2025 conference on June 18th to 19th, 2025 at Alisa Hotel, Accra. The theme, Regulating HRM in Ghana, Standards, Ethics and Sustainability. Conference rate, members will pay 3,200 Ghana cedis. Non-members are going to pay 4,000 Ghana cedis. Student members, 2,000 Ghana cedis. Now, register now via the CIHRM website or at CIHRM Ghana on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on X. You can contact us on these numbers, 0243 278 694 or 020 811 2. For group registrations and discounts, those are the numbers to call. CIHRM, Transforming Work and Workplaces.
Well, let me tell you now about owning that home. Are you looking for a home in a prime location? Well, Nestus Homes has got you covered. Our properties in Tema Community 26, just behind the Palace Mall, offer a serene atmosphere, easy access to transportation routes, and social amenities. Off-plan prices start at $35,000 US. Call us today, 0531 014 440 or 0531 014 447. You can also check out our website at www.nestus.com.gh. And don't you forget, Nestus is spelled Nestas. But now, when you get your home, let me quickly add on, you need water, right? Let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's actually simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The Tortoise Tank Syntex tank is the champion of water tanks. It is strong, it is durable, it is built to handle our Ghanaian weather. So rain or shine, Syntex tank has your back. Kind of like zero, yeah? So my people, go outside, check your tank. If it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to scale up. It's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. You can call that number, 0244 335 168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also visit our shop online at syntexgh.com. You can get all the details from there. Syntex tank, air strong, air tough.
Well, 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 what do we have here? Are you thinking of dreaming, daring, and delivering in the world of IT? Then look no further than Jackson Institute of Technology, the only NIIT authorized training center in Ghana. At JIT, we provide world-class IT training for individuals and corporate organizations, equipping you with industry-relevant skills in software development, cybersecurity, networking, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, digital marketing, and many more. We also offer globally recognized certifications, practical job-ready training, and flexible hybrid learning options, which allows you to study either online or on-site. Plus, our expert instructors ensure hands-on learning experiences that prepare you for success in today's digital world. And we are conveniently located on the Ring Road near Circle, in the heart of Accra's Central Business District. And in Kumasi, we are at Jackson Educational Complex headquarters at Ayediase, near KNUST. Now, GIT provides easy access for students and corporate clients, and our state-of-the-art auditorium is also available for corporate events, seminars, and training sessions. You can call or send us a WhatsApp on these numbers: 059 699 6037 or 059 699 6038 or 055 271 4635. Our website is also available for you at www.jit.edu.gh. JIT, your gateway to a thriving IT career. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, more action for you on the AM show. Thank you for staying with us. And like you just heard in that promo, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is officially back. And we have one of the sponsors in studio this morning to shine light on what they do and the goodies you'll be enjoying when you go to their stand at EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair this year. I have in studio Mr. Ashi Galloway. He is CEO of Drive EVGH. Welcome.
Thank you, sweetie.
Mr. Galloway.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure to have you back.
Fantastic to be here.
So I know what Drive EVGH is.
Yep.
Some of our audience who've been following the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair for a while also are aware. But for the sake of those who don't know, introduce us to Drive EV.
Okay, so Drive EV Ghana, which is Drive EVGH, is an electric vehicle company. We sell, service, and maintain electric vehicles, as well as we're also building charge networks for electric vehicles here in Ghana.
Okay. How long have you been doing this?
We started just last year. We registered the company around April, but we actually opened up for service, I think, August last year.
Okay,
So we're just coming up to a year.
Just a year?
Yes.
But I think, will I be accurate to say you are the most trusted brand in that industry, considering that electronic vehicles are a new thing here in Ghana? They're quite dope.
I would say we're on the forefront of electric vehicles in Ghana. We've actually done a lot of work to make it popular. So yes, we could be premiers in that space.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I can't
it's been
wait
a lot
to
of
drive.
hard work.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
Hard
you.
work is paying off. So what made you come back this year to the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair?
Okay, we did some work with multimedia last year with one of their fairs, and it was a great success. It was actually a good launch pad for Drive EVGH, for people to get to know us and trust us. And multimedia is a good brand to associate with. So when you're associated with them, people know you're serious and they trust you. So that's why we're back.
How does the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair align with your values or goals? Or, I mean, at the core, who you are as Drive EVGH? There's a reason why we want to be all aligned and sync.
Yes.
What is it for you?
So with the Habitat Fair, we're talking about homes. And the new thing with homes is every home wants to be sustainable. They want to reduce their energy. They want to reduce their cost.
Yeah.
And that's the main theme of this fair. So for us, it just made sense to align where we are going to introduce people to sustainable energy, not only with cars, also with renewable energy, because we Drive EVGH. Not only do we do cars that are electrified, we also do renewable energy. So we're bringing all of that together to make people understand that it's time to get sustainable, to help the environment, and to make energy cheaper along the line.
So when visitors or when people come to the fair this year,
Yep.
what should they expect? Are you giving some discounts? Do you have any special packages coming up? What's the X factor this year that our audience and those who come to the fair should look out for?
Okay, so in the last 1 year, like we said, we've done a lot of work, and we've successfully worked with a lot of financial institutions where your main sponsor, EcoBank, is actually doing a deal with Drive EVGH, where we are able to give cars at very good interest rate of 15% on a hire purchase deal for 5 to 6 years. So we're not just making it possible for people to buy cars, but finding finance ways to make it easier for them to do that. And we have that with various finance partners, but EcoBank is one of our main partners at this time.
I want to get as much details as possible. When you say 15%, how much is your, maybe the most affordable car that you have, and then we can calculate the 15%.
Okay, so the most affordable car will be ranging around the $20,000 mark.
Okay.
So $20,000. I think the monthly repayment of that comes to about 5,000 CDs a month.
Okay.
On the EcoBank deal, yes.
Thank you for doing that. I don't know math's mind. I don't pretend to. Yeah, so it means that with as little as 5,000 CDs payment every month, you can get a car.
You can own a new car. And not only that.
Brand new car.
Brand new car.
Yeah.
Not only that, with our charge network, we're also offering 1,000 CDs of free charging every month for 12 months. So if you buy a brand new car from us, you get free charging for your car for 12 months as well. So it's a win-win for customers, for industries, for companies, corporates, and everybody. So it's a good time to come with us.
For those thinking sustainability, how available are these charging ports?
So we are also the fastest growing charge company in Ghana. We have a shoot-off brand called X-Charge EVGH.
Oh.
Currently, we have 2 charge stations. We have another 2 coming up in a few weeks. And hopefully in the next 2 months, we should be pushing towards 13, 15 different charge stations within Accra and Kumasi.
Okay, so let's get out details of how people can locate you. First of all, physical location. Where are you?
Okay, so we are in Chado. We're actually going to be opening our new showroom sometime in the next 2 weeks. But currently we are in Chado. So the easiest way to find us is just put our name in Google Maps or any of the maps you have, they'll bring you straight to us.
Okay,
which is the easiest way.
Just put in Drive EV GH in your Google map and it'll take you straight to Chado. Oh, there you have it on your screens, the flyer. And in terms of contact, I want to put out the numbers for you because I have it.
Gladly. They can get some of the flyers as well.
It's on the flyer as well, right? So there you have it there. It's 053 8922 722 or 0540 474 787. So contact them and get a cool deal. So these promotional deals are running throughout and they can sign up at the EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair.
Definitely.
I'd like to give our special guests the chance to speak directly to our audience. So that's your camera right there. What do you want us to remember from this interview?
What you need to remember, the future of electric is here. Electric cars are now the best things that can happen to you. They save you money, they save our environment, and they make you more sustainable. Everybody needs to reduce their energy cost. Come to Drive EVGH and we'll make that happen for you.
Ashi Galloway, you're the CEO of Drive EVGH, and EV is electronic vehicles, right?
Yes.
So Drive Electronic Vehicles Ghana, and they will be there at the EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure, as always.
Stick and stay. I'll be right back with more information for you. Right back.
That was good.
Welcome back to the AM show. And it's time now for us to talk about World Day of the Elderly. I know that it's probably new to you. You've never heard of it before. So there are people here in the studio with me to bring you all the details so that you can follow through with us. In the studio with me this morning is Mr. Isaac Glover. He's a member of the Association of Ghana's Elders. And we also have Dr. Isabella Sego Moses, and she is from the Aliva Seniors Daycare. And together, they are members of the network of the organization of organizations taking care of the elderly. And it's called NOTE for short. Can I just go with NOTE for short? Yes, members of NOTE. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning for this important conversation.
It's our pleasure.
First of all, how did this come about? I want to start with you, Doc. Who thought up this brilliant idea that we should set aside a day where we can focus or even create awareness that the elderly are an important part of our society?
Yes, so the idea started about a decade ago. The World Health Organization and other people interested in the welfare of the elderly. And the day is actually about creating awareness about elder abuse. Elder abuse.
Okay.
And it's come about because our societies are changing. We are growing older. Meanwhile, the way we knew our communities and settings to be with family around, helping, is no longer the case. And so the care of the elderly is shifting onto a few people, caregivers, who in many cases are not really trained. So when the frustrations and things start, then the abuse comes in.
What I'm hearing is that you need some sort of special training to take care of the elderly.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, you do.
Is that what you do at Aliva Seniors Daycare?
Yes.
Please tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. At Aliva Seniors, we seek to engage the elderly. You know, these days they are left at home. Everybody goes to work. Many of them are lonely. So we seek to bring them together in a very convenient and amiable setting with staff that are trained to spend quality time with them.
Okay, sounds like fun to me.
It is, it is.
And Mr. Glover, and you're a member of the Association of Ghana's Elders. First, I want you to tell me a bit about that and also give me your own reflections on why it's important to mark this day.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. And yes, we are Association of Ghana's Elders. And in short, we say age.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, it rhymes, yes. Yeah. We are also an organization that's made up of retirees. And we have different levels of membership. We have volunteers, we have patrons, we have members. And basically, we are formed to create a platform for the elderly. Because like Doc said, when they get to a certain age, they are excluded. So the aged, we create a platform to bring them together, to socialize, to know themselves, to adapt new methods of living. Because at that level of your age, you are isolated. Your peers are also sitting some far away. So we create the platform, bring them together, then they can socialize.
Please invite me for your next association. I want to be there.
You have,
right, so,
have a lot of fun.
Yeah. This is not just about creating awareness on the elderly, but also on elderly abuse, like you mentioned, Doc.
Yes.
Explain to me what you mean when you say elderly abuse, and who's abusing the elders?
Okay. So elderly abuse comes in various forms. And you'll be surprised that it is not that isolated. It is quite common. Some research puts it at about 1 in 6 of elderly people who are abused. It could be physical abuse, where maybe you push them, you hit them. There's also the verbal abuse, the things you say to them that don't show respect, that cause them to feel bad, even sexual abuse. And then the forms of neglect. You have parents, some people have parents they don't see in several years. They don't know how they are eating, how their medication is going. It could be financial, where people take advantage of them and scam them, take their money, because maybe they can't go to the ATM, they give you their PIN, and you take advantage and then withdraw more than expected. So it comes in so many forms, taking advantage of the vulnerable elderly.
Okay. I want to say that there's a systemic gap in the orientation of us as a society. I think it's even cultural, that we see elderly people as not a part of our society. Like you said, we think they're negligible. And so that's why most people who see elderly people will then automatically think witchcraft.
Exactly.
Which is terrible.
So that's the religious abuse.
Yes, so that's a religious abuse. So where can we start to even unpack or unravel this complex but integral part of our society or cultural values as Ghanaians, Mr. Glover?
Thank you very much. It's a Herculean task, but I think that the structure of our society also tend to support that, because when you are at that level, you are vulnerable, and most of the elderly prefer to remain silent, because in growing up, they've been used to resisting. I mean, if you say A, she'll say B and all that. But when you get to that level, you prefer to remain silent. So that's where the abuse takes the shape. So you have less, for example, if you are a caregiver and you are taking care of the elderly, there's a indirect form of abuse. You know, the caregiver comes daily, and slowly the caregiver will begin to tell you, oh, my children are very good, but they are at home. They are not going to school. They like this, they like that. Gradually, because when you are old, there's a tendency that you are open-hearted.
Yes.
You are free.
You have more empathy.
You are vulnerable. So the caregiver slowly feeds you with issues that will raise your emotions. Then in the end, will take advantage. So that's one of the abuse that we I mean, it's a society. The society has been created in that.
Okay. Which is why this conversation is important. Because although I know this has been marked or people are marking it elsewhere in the world, I think we are not very aware of this. And I believe you said this is the first time we're marking it in Ghana.
In a bigger way.
In a bigger way,
yes.
Okay. So this is happening on the 15th. The day is actually the 15th of June, 2025. That is the day for World Elderly Abuse Awareness Day.
That's
so
Sunday.
How are we marking this day, Doc?
Yeah, so you asked earlier that how do we begin to tackle the issue. So we are taking opportunity of this day to create awareness. And so throughout this week, our members have been creating awareness on various platforms, and we are grateful that Joy FM has given us this platform, because you first need to be aware, to pay attention to them. And we are encouraging all of us to start treating them as pearls. Pay attention to them, engage them. What they are saying matters. Sometimes they go to hospital, for example, with a carer, and the health worker is asking questions about the elderly, and yet directing the questions at the carer, not listening to them. So pay attention to what they are saying, assess the situation, try to understand the situation they are in, and then you can decide, oh, I need to refer it to somebody or bring somebody in to help them. And then we can lead with whatever we can do. If it's just paying a visit, spend a few minutes with them. Oh, I need someone to buy something, call somebody. They have the phone they want to call. Sometimes that's, And as we do that, we sort of improve their self-dignity. And I must say that we in turn gain. We gain from that kind of engagement, treating them as pearls.
Where is this activity to mark World Elder Abuse Awareness Day? Is there something specifically happening? Is there like an activity? Are you gathering to celebrate something? Tell me about that, Mr. Glover. Is there something like that happening?
No, we haven't fixed any. It's the first time we are marking it on the wider scale. And coincidentally, it falls on the Father's Day as well.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So we've tried not to overshadow the attention on fathers. So we are not. But we are hoping that we are planning for the 1st of July. In the past, it used to be a Republic Day, and it's given to the elderly, but it's been taken. So we are planning to have a series of programs on the 1st of July to mark the day.
If I could hazard a guess, I'll say there aren't enough institutions in the country where elderly people can go and seek care, fun, or even just to connect with other people. If our leaders could hear you right now, what would you say, or what would be your request for them to ensure that they are paying attention to you? Because I know that life moves on very quickly, but you're a very important group of the society. And a society whose elders are not listened to, they'll repeat their past mistakes over and over again. I'm not taking the word of yourself. Please, there's a camera over there. If the leaders could hear you right now,
we are all getting there to be elders. And so we need to prepare for ourselves. Paying attention to the needs of the elderly is paying attention to ourselves and to our future. One thing I want to request is that there's been a policy for the elderly lying on the drawing board for a very long time. Please, let's expedite action and pass this.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc. Mr. Glover, what would you add to this?
Well, she said, but I think that the onus also is on we, the elderly, because we tend to give in to anything that comes our way. So we should consider our space as sacred. Fight and protect. If it's not always right to say yes to anything, any requests, because we see our lives as a bank where you have your funds in a bank account. Any call that comes, oh, uncle, I need A, B, C, D, then you go to the bank and cash and give. Eventually, if you don't replace, the money will get finished. So the elderly should be able to say no to certain things. It's not always, you shouldn't always tend to please, but you should be strong. And for the policymakers, like Doc said, the aged policy has been on drawing board for a long time. It started during E.T. Mensah's time, and we are still struggling with it. So we are asking policymakers at least push it through, because eventually they will also become like us. Thank you.
That there is Mr. Isaac Glover. He's a member of the Association of Ghana's Elders. And we also have Dr. Isabella Sego Moses. She is the lead CEO, Director for Aliva Seniors Daycare. And together they are part of the network of organizations taking care of the elderly. Thank you so much for joining us. And please remember that on the 15th of June 2025, we are marking International World Day of Elderly Abuse and Stop Abusing the Elderly. Right, so before I go, I want to remind you to get ready for the 7th Ghana Football Awards. You want to join us on June 14th at the Palms Convention Center for a night of excitement, glamour, and a celebration of Ghana's finest football stars. Let's unite the nation once again through football. Ghana Football Awards is a Football Impact Africa initiative powered by Activate 360 and proudly supported by the Multimedia Group and AE Mediacom. The sponsors are also NASCO, FCM Travel, Destination Avant-Garde, Shell, Safari Valley Resort. Ghana Football Awards, celebrating the stars of our passion. I'll be right back with more on the AM show. Thanks for staying. Now let me bring you an all-female panel. I know you love it when I do that. So in the studio with me this morning is Dr. Yai-Chan Boateng and Miss Winifred Owusu-Ansah. Both of them are from Slopsa 2000. And Dr. Yai-Chan Boateng is the president of Slopsa 2000. And Miss Winifred Owusu-Ansah is the media communications director for Slopsa 2000. Let's talk about Slopsa 2000, some wonderful things they have coming up. Ladies, welcome to the program. You look lovely in green. Okay, I know you're excited because you're about to launch your Silver Jubilee as Slopsa. So first of all, introduce us to Slopsa. Someone is wondering, what's Slopsa short for, Doc?
Okay, so Slopsa is short for St. Louis Past Students Association, and we are the Millennium Group, the 2000-year group, and that is special in itself. You know, 2000, you're in between the Gen X and the Gen Z. We relate both ways, so it makes us a special group. And the initiation of the 25th anniversary celebrations by the school and the school board starts with us. So it makes it really special.
Thank you. You know, you were what we call Gen Zs now. You were that for that year in 2000.
Exactly.
People didn't understand what crop of human beings you were. But let's talk about the beautiful launch you have coming up. And Miss Winfred, what are some of the activities that Slopsa 2000 have been doing so far, before we even get into what's coming up now?
Okay, so since completion and then being together as past students, we have always been in support of each other. encouraging and connecting and linking each other into places. And mostly, I think that everybody was on their own individual path, discovering themselves. And 25 years, we have well been able to establish ourselves in various sectors of our economy.
What I hear is you're an active alumni group, which means that you've not just abandoned the school, you're actively involved in everything.
Not at all.
Share some of the success stories with me in terms of something that you've done that has impacted the school. Doc, you take this now.
So as Winifred said earlier, Slopsa 2000, we are new to the scene because we are now coming to, let's say, launch our anniversary. But we have our senior Slopsans who have done various projects in the school. So they've done water projects with storage tanks and boreholes, mechanized boreholes. We have a year group that has built a whole dining hall for the school. We have year groups that have refurbished the ICT lab, donated books, donated benches, like a whole lot. Yes.
Power to the people.
Thank you.
Power to the women.
Power to Slopsa. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk now about the launch.
Yeah.
What are you launching? Let me take this. Let me give this to the communications, madam.
Okay.
What are you launching?
So we have a project we have set our eyes on to revamp the dining hall. Like he has said, was built by another group, but over the years it's depleted. The numbers have increased. The infrastructure is not enough or adequate any longer. And so we are trying to revamp it into something that is modernized for our daughters. Now they are our daughters to enjoy. So on the 15th of June, coming Sunday, which is a Father's Day, we are meeting at the Charleston's Hotel in Tesano, in Accra. And we are launching this 25th anniversary and raise funding towards this Millennium Project that we have in mind.
Madam President, what is the intention behind revamping the dining hall? I know there's so many things you could have opted to do. Why the dining hall?
Okay. So just to clarify, we have two dining halls. So we have the new one that was built by the alumni and then one that was built by the school. So when we were in school, it was actually a dormitory, but now it's the dining hall. Yes. And it's quite run down. And when we were in school, during meal time, we get to sit down, like our whole year group goes to the dining hall. We sit, we say grace, we use our cutlery, you know, like ladies, we're building character.
So I know exactly what you mean.
Discipline, being on time, and then, you know, all the etiquette that we learn. Currently, we are not having that for our girls in the school because the numbers are so many, and now they even eat in shifts. So you have the dining hall prefect, and because we have two dining halls, the dining hall prefect has to go to one dining hall, share the food, then quickly rush to the other dining hall. We can't have all the students even seated at a go because there aren't enough benches, there aren't enough tables. Those that are there currently, you don't want to see them. The ceiling has leakages when it rains, so a section of the room cannot even be used, and we need all the space we can get. The lighting system is bright in here, it's lovely, but go to St. Louis Dining Hall and it's dark.
What I hear is there's a completely dilapidated structure.
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to life.
Yes, we need to bring it back to life.
And I know that it takes money to do that. I'll give you the opportunity to shout out to some of the popular old girls who you know. Call them so that we know that bring big money so that you can go and revamp that. Yes. Go ahead.
So, unfortunately, I was going to mention, but she's bereaved. But I also call on her, Honorable Jifago Mashi. She's an old girl. Our Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Patricia P.J., an MP of Asqua. She's also an old girl of Slopsa. And then we have the owner of Charleston Hotel. She's also Slopsa, and her husband is also from our Alliance School, Opokuwari, so Akata Slopsa. That's Juliana Kunedu. You know. So that's Juliana Kunedu. And our global president, she's also a lawyer, killing it. She's also Juliana Efumwa Bruce. I'm calling on, they've been phenomenal so far. We're calling on all of them. We have Sheila Zuntaba, former Miss Ghana. She's also Slopsan. We have Millicent Atuguba.
Lydia Fawcett.
Yes.
Millions.
So we have people all over, and we are calling on all of them. Some are already supporting. We want to call everybody, and not just our Slopsans, every single person out there. You meet everybody.
Thank you for doing the who?
Abodam's wife.
For Abodam's wife.
Yes.
She's a Slopsa 2000. Actually.
Yes.
Okay, so she's actually
with us.
Yes. So, I mean, what are the activities that are going to mark the launch of this Silver Jubilee in terms of, are you coming together for a particular event? Tell me about that. What's the X factor for the launch?
Okay, so it's a fundraising, first of all, a cocktail party.
Okay, so
cocktail. And then, yes, and then we are having this...
so a lot of fundraising activities. We're collecting your money, but in a nice way. Yes, come and have fun whilst we take your money.
All right, you had me at cocktails. So yeah,
we'll see you there.
Thank you so much for coming. I wish you the very best.
Thank
this
you.
is happening, let's reiterate, the 15th of June 2025 at Tessano, Charleston Hotel, right here in Accra. So please, if you're a Slopsan, make sure that you attend and raise some funds for the dining hall. Dr. Ya Echan Boateng is president of Slopsa 2000, and Miss Winfred Owusu-Ansam is a member of Slopsa 2000 and also the media communication director for Slopsa 2000. Thank you so much, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, it's not 10 o'clock yet, so I'll be back with more. I'll be right back. It's time now for you to have your say on the AM show. So the last belt of the AM show is dedicated to you, for you to call us and tell us what's on your mind, what's happening in your community, and what are your thoughts on all the conversations we've had so far. 0302 211 691. 0302 211 691. That's the number to call and have your say. While I wait for your calls, I want to celebrate a special young woman that I absolutely love to the moon and back. She's the exact, well, we'll go back to that. We have Akonoba, who is my first caller from Kumasi. Akonoba, good morning. You're live on the AM show. Talk to me.
My beautiful lady. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Oh,
what's on your mind?
And God bless you for your foundation. I will always say it wherever I go. God bless
Thank you.
Sweetie, you see, in as much as the office of the special prosecutor have the right to defend themselves, I also, as a citizen of Ghana, pursuant to the Constitution, also have the right to also criticize a state institution that they are being paid with my taxes. I think Honorable or Mr. Samedako Esquire should be at times calm and have a big heart whenever he engages on radio. Today, I listened to him the way he was speaking, and it was so bossy, and I can't even use a right word for it. It was not nice at all. You are a public officer. Even if without admitting that the person has even done something wrong, was that relevant? You should come and state the issues. And you see, at the end of the interview, I felt so proud of you, whereby you were able to help him to say what you want to say. When you asked him, so can you tell us the specific reasons why the OSP is raiding or is searching people with a warrant? And because at that time he had come down, he was able to explain it well for me and other Ghanaians to understand that it's not something about Ofori-Atta. So what was the point in him coming to correct someone on radio? And does he know the kind of people that we are also listening to, the TV set? Some of us are even bigger than him, but you might not know. So and it's an advice to him. No, it's important. It's an advice to him. It is not that he should know how to talk. You see, at times, whenever media people engage him, he speaks as if he knows more than them, and the media people doesn't know anything. I think today that they should warn him.
Thank you so much. I wish I could spend more time on this, but that's all that time will allow for your call. Thank you so much, Akonoba, for calling us this morning and for adding your voice to that matter. So the lines are still active. 0302-211-691 is the number to call. I don't want to start talking about Victoria Men's and then somebody will call me right now, but let me try and do this, squeeze this in quickly. So Victoria graduated first of her class from Academic City in engineering, and she's the most awarded student of the class. She got the University Founders Award, the Academic City Citizens Award, and the Best Female in Engineering Award. And she is my executive assistant for Girl Get Up Africa. That's why I'm particularly excited. Congratulations, Victoria. We're solidly behind you, and I'm confident you're going to do fantastic in the world of work. That takes me to my next guest. Akosia is on the line now. Akosia, tell me where you're calling from and share your thoughts with me.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Katamanso. From Katamanso.
All right. What's on your mind, Akosia?
I just want to talk about the problem we are currently facing at the constituency. From the Katamanso police station to Katamanso number 2 to Apollonia, the road is so terrible that we only use motorbike and Pradia. If you don't have 4x4, forget it. The road is so terrible. So I want the MP, Honorable Joti. I've never seen him, but I'm told he is called Joti. He should come and visit the area. You see motorbike slipping, and then the Pradia. It's just so unbearable. It's so unbearable. We are begging them. The new Minister of Roads and Highways, he should visit us. As for Asama Road, it's manageable. It's manageable. But this one, it's like a swimming pool.
Well, Akosia, I mean, I understand your pain and the grievance, but you can't say that someone's road is manageable. I mean, for all you know, well, they are facing the same challenges
they are facing the same problem. I know. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you so much for correcting me. It's so unbearable. We are begging them. We are part of the country.
Okay, so for the Member of Parliament and the authorities in that area, she says, so from the police station to number 2, the road is terrible, which means that they're unable to, wow, that's what you're seeing on your screens right now. This is beyond danger. Please heed the call of Akosia this morning and do something immediately about the road. Akosia, thank you for calling.
You're most welcome. Have a wonderful day.
You too. So that's that on the Katamanso police station to number 2 road. We showed you short visuals there, and it's terrible indeed. I have about 4 minutes more to pick your calls, so do call me. There was a story I wanted to bring to your attention this morning, but because our time was exhausted in the news review segment, Isaac is calling me from Laura. Isaac, good morning. How's Laura this morning?
It's cool.
Okay, share your thoughts. Isaac, go ahead, share your thoughts.
Laura is fine.
Yeah, share your thoughts with me. I can hear you.
Yes, please. I also want to talk about the nursing strike.
Okay.
That one, when you check a slide, the minister is not serious on the issue. We are all essential workers. If you check at the other center, they have rent allowance, uniform, be set to them every year. Various kind of uniform they have, they always say to them. This is even about life. Yes, if you are equated to other that you are saying their security or whatever. But this one also now they are sitting down. If you're sick and you go to us when they don't treat you, will you go to the border and protect somebody? So we have to look at put in perspective. Don't say that they play politics. Let's just remove the politics of people's life. Let's remove the politics. Now you wanted to go on strike. You say you can't try on the budget. Why can't you do? You can also provide. They want to start. They are not even talking about something. The next one to talk about payment. Oh, this man will give, this man will give, this man will give with this.
All right.
Let's look at it. And that's politics. They need to look at if it's politics. It's not the best. We cannot play Ghanaian life with politics. That's my take on it.
All right. Thank you so much for calling us all the way from Rolla. And you're saying that you think, it's your opinion, this is what you had to say, that they're not taking the nurses and registered midwives seriously. So that's what you had to say. On this issue, I think that it's time that we addressed it and fixed it once and for all. There was that crunch meeting yesterday. We are yet to understand the fallout and the way forward now. But let me pick my next caller's call. Frank is calling me from Ho. where I attended senior high school. Frank, how is Hogbome?
Hogbome is fine.
Lucky, F1.
All
right, talk to me, Frank.
Hogbome is fine.
Ayo, Messi. Okay, so what's going on? You are my last caller, so talk to me, Frank.
I just want to tell you that the way recently something happened in whole market. So I think the way our authorities try to handle the issues is not a good channel that they went through. Because
you mean the
women are
decongestion
selling on the roadside. Instead of the authority to tell them or to inform them that, yes. So they went there, destroyed their food stuff. When you saw the things with your eyes, it's not good. So we are appealing to the government. These people voted for them because the previous government are not doing well. That's their thought. So if they voted for you and you are treating them like this, I think it's not fair. So I'm appealing to the municipal chief executive, which is my brother, to come in and calm down the situation in the market. Thank you.
All right. Frank, thank you so much for calling. And he was referring to that decongestion in the market, the whole market over there. So thank you all for calling. And that's all that time will allow us this morning on the AM show. I did this with Benjamin Akapo. Don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Waylead Properties, and we provide quality housing at affordable cost with flexible payment options. Now, today's a Thursday, and so, of course, we'll leave you with Ghana Grows Changing Narratives, which is brought to you by MasterCard Foundation in collaboration with Springboard Roadshow Foundation. My name is Sweetie Abochi. Bye for now.
Me fa broni babu bobo muti ena ma me nya pepa say me hia say adwuma me start hairdresser adwuma de me wie JSS na be 1 year time na e de me koto adwuma me hia ye me hia no 3 years me wie na be ye madwuma Mechirem kura adwuma ye botire ye hyehye tire ye san hye rig adwuma no de wode bebe ye betimi aye na me bie madwuma mi nya ye kura menya be 22 years ye free 5 years in team me pese me tire ho ade bia me ye bia na haya na meba ebebe ye kura bebe na bae no be 20 ene me awie adwuma ama sese mi wa chire be 8 a me da so ne omo ye adwuma started the system abrabo there because committee fear coming number sabasasa nka minim ni e bia nka beto me de me ho a ese me ye madwuma no be madwuma nyina fa ne se mitimi de hwe me fie ama matimi de aboa me kunu ama yaye agapade kakra Emponu wo wanchi krodue ma me bomi tisisi ana me de nam kroma omo wo wanchi no kra no nipa ne muso wo se ohun wa wo se a tire we de afia se wa ne bo wutim enti e ma menya gidi wo mu se me nsa no adwuma no osua de ba nyankopon de ache no adwuma me bieye me de aboa wanchi fiefo ama magibi no ma me no omo ye adwuma e kire omo adwuma no e fa wanchi mpata mu ha babia 3 years e wo manimi a me hwe animu e pese minya baabi kese na me fa nkora bebre Ghana Grows dwumadie amaya ye won tokrom ayiye pie ama wiase nyina ehuye e damase bebre dwumasua ye obi ani obetimi age wa dwumasua every winsam ana wutim Rabesua adwuma na mfaso wo so. Se wo wansa no dwuma a, entimi ma obi biara emebu kwasea. Me madwuma yi me depose me ho, e ma ba bia mepie bia, nipa bɔ me din a, ye twa ye ni san ahwe me bio. Wo ye adwuma na ebeboa wo.
Madam de mintimi nka hwe nkyire no, ne metimi aka nse nyame nhyira no. Onye ne kese se ne ode ye hye ne yam, odidi ma ye bidi. Mi hye madam de.
Me dey afia sewa. Me na me CEO Emma Sewa Beauty Serum, Ghana Grows Hope Day.